Well, happy Memorial Day weekend, everyone. I know some people started vacationing yesterday, but it's Friday, and in the US it's a 3-day weekend, 4-day weekend. Monday we have Monday off, and the courts are closed Monday. So I know a bunch of us were kind of hoping that we would get a ruling on this 47.1 today from Lyman. We're like, don't you want to kick off your holiday weekend with that? But no, we don't have it. So anyways, we are going to just get right into this week's winners and losers. Delulu losers, because a lot of this has to do with Lululemon. But I mean, right away, who else are we starting with? Is the Miss Shy Girl herself, Blake Lively, putting her latest Instagram was with at Fendi on some sort of, I don't know, shopping spree or something. So I said it ends with Fendi. Get it? Ends Fendi. Anyways, yeah, so first she posted this photo like on her Insta, and it was just like, I mean, it's just so funny because she was just at like, the Met Gala. I guess that's like the shy person Olympic event of the year. Like she's like, I'm so shy. And then here she is holding up traffic in Manhattan for a photo shoot. It makes no sense. Everything she does makes no sense. But what really, really confused me about all of this is that then Fendi went and posted this on their page after people were like, oh, that's so funny. Fendi didn't post Lively at their event. They've posted all the other celebrities. So she ended up they ended up adding her, and the comment section went crazy. So, yeah, check it out. There she is, and, there was this one photo she posted in her stories where she's holding, like, 5 of these bags, and I wanna make sure, can you guys all hear me? Yeah? It's my sound. It's a little awkward. I have an HVAC worker in the house. Long story, I'll tell you guys later. So, okay, cool, we have some people coming in. Yeah, so basically, she posted with 5 holding 5 bags. Yeah, she's a bag lady. And, I was like, "Oh, it's like one for every contractor you owe." And so that was the big story. What's her name? Without a Crystal Ball had it first. I guess someone sent this info to her. And after she did a story on it, I went on my own to the website to look up all these liens, and I've never seen anything like this. Like, and so yeah, again, and these are the dates of the work of when it started, and it seems like all of the work ended in this past December. And so all these people wanna get paid, and now, we're in May, so we're almost in June. I mean, that we're it's almost like 6 months after December, and so it seems like, these people wanna get paid everything from, like, 118,000, 250,000, 125,000, 257,000, and this one, it says 1,356,000. And they're saying that the total price and value of everything was over 17 million, which is crazy. But I was like, look, she has one bag for each of these people who hasn't been paid. And like, maybe it's a rich person thing or something. I don't know. Like when I got my house and when I had to hire, we had to get like the floor, for example, like, the old carpet taken out and put in a new one. We couldn't just like not pay them. But, the bill goes directly to us. Like, as people, we don't have like an accountant doing it. So I assume Blake and Ryan, they have an accountant, and they do because on here it says, where the billing is going. It's not, I don't think it's going to them. It's going to the owners, the LLC that owns the house. And that is the same address as pretty sure their accountant. So I'm just wondering why their accountant hasn't paid these, if there is a reason. And I don't know. I don't understand. Maybe it's like maybe it's like a certain rich person thing, or maybe it's a specific to that county of how people get paid. But none of this seems normal to me. The fact that it's now like almost June and you have this much in bills, that's crazy. That would stress me the hell out. I mean, that's crazy. And all those people are depending on this money to pay their employees. So, anyways, that is insane to me. And this is why, I mean, there's so many reasons. Of course, she's the biggest loser of them all. That's why we're starting with her. But then I looked up the address of the house because they own it's several different properties, and they bought it. So altogether, it's like 110 acres. It is gorgeous. Like she literally has like basically her own lake, and she is wasting her time and money in court. Like when you could be here, like that's insane to me. And like, I mean, I don't have that many acres. I just have like a small little house and, a little bit of land, not a lot. And even that, like this whole week, just getting like a few tiny little things done in the house has taken up my entire time. I can't imagine her like being away from this and all this work being done on it's 110 acres. And what is she doing? She's wasting money in court for what? It's the worst rebrand I've ever seen in my life. Okay, let me check in with you all. Hey, Gloria. Hey, Trish. Hey, Khaleesi. Hey, Elsie. How are you guys doing? Vague says, I would want my doors locked too. It's hard to concentrate when you have to worry about other things. I mean, I wouldn't really know. It is. Like, my brain is in two places right now. So, but once that's done and I can lock it, I'll be better. And I mean, I have a story for you guys. Oh my God. I don't even know if I should tell it or not. We'll see when we get there. But this week has been so insane. Hey, Lori Jane. I thought of you because we do have a slide for Aaron Spencer today. Nothing news happened. Well, there's a small thing, but Defense Diaries is doing a whole thing tomorrow. So I have that information for us later. Hey, Gloria. She says, hello, everyone. I'm watching. I'm not interacting because I'm actually working right now, but I'm listening. Well, hopefully you get Monday off. But yeah, I've been working this whole week. It's been crazy. Hey, Roses Wild. How are you? Hey, Trish. Hey, Pam. Okay, it says, LC, I was just watching it on Andy's channel while waiting on this notification. Of course, this notification didn't come through. Oh, yeah, of course, with YouTube. That's how it always is. Oh, his interview. Yeah, Ryan Reynolds did a bizarre interview. I heard a recap of it, but I didn't watch it myself because, I didn't feel like torturing myself that much this week. Hey, Mildly, how are you? There's an old school band called Honey Crack named Go Away, which sums up my feelings on Blian quite exquisitely. Well, yeah. Yeah, exactly. Go away, right? So, and they haven't gone away. And I was just hoping we would just get that 47.1, denied. I was hoping for that today, and then we could all just be done with at least that docket. And I'm not even joking. Actually, I could show it right now. I literally even have it pulled up so I could refresh it. And I'm just like, why don't we have any updates? But I guess that's Lyman. He just wants to drag it out. So that it is what it is. Oh, Beyond Blessed. Hello, how are you? Gloria says, let's all remember she's so poor and destitute. She needs 2 judges and 2 different states to give her 47.1 money, not because she's a real victim of anything. She's a shyster and she's figured out. Well, but this property, I mean, they paid good money for it. And I'm pretty sure they paid full price. I mean, not full price, sorry. I'm pretty sure what I read, and this could be wrong, but from what I read, I thought that they paid in cash or maybe that's just for like one of them because there were several different ones to make up the 110 acres. But like, you guys, it is gorgeous. Like, it's on a lake. She has her own lake. She has so much land. I don't know what she was thinking, wasting time in court. Like, she should be there with these contractors, like just getting it finished. And I would it's like her own little paradise. But she's, in her penthouse bathroom in New York, eating burritos in the bathroom with the toilet seat up, posting on Instagram, posting herself in jeans saying New York lady, blue jeans baby or whatever, to try to get jurisdiction for this guy in her case that she's never even met before in Texas, Judd Wallace, that she's still going after for 47.1 trouble damages that are meant to protect SH and SA survivors, that she's using for someone that she's literally never even met or had any contact with. It's crazy. Pam says, the longer Lyman takes, I think the better for Wayfair. It's easier to give in to Blake Zilla than to deny, although it's not appealable because it's new. The court is looking at him. Yeah. Well, exactly. They already said they won't appeal whatever he does. So it's like, rule on it already, Happy birthday to Gelth. Happy birthday, Gelth. A way she could rob the system, use money that's meant for real victims to pay off for bills. Yeah. So, but that's what I'm confused. Trish, I wandered in late to see that. Thank you. Well, happy birthday. I hope you have an amazing day, amazing month. What are you? You're on the cusp, right? Is it Taurus? Is May 22nd? Well, I hope you have an incredible day. Hello. It's a narcissistic thing. Yeah. So does anyone understand anything about this? Sorry if I missed anyone. Jungle Vet Jill, how are you? I know they're neighbors. Nobody knows them. any interactions are done via their security. They already had privacy. Yeah, they have. I mean, it's a huge buffer of land that they have. So they don't even like I don't even know if they'll ever meet their neighbors unless like, something happens if any of these contractors happen to be their neighbors. But wow, you said I'm going to wedding there. I'll take some pictures. Okay, Jungle Vet Jill, that is incredible. Definitely let me know. I don't know if you're going to want to like post them somewhere and we can share the post, or if you want to send them to me, we can get you my email. That would be so cool. I am Irma. Hello, RRMBL own a home in Poundridge, a place in the Cotswold, in UK, pad in London, and BY. Well, I mean, they do. They own a lot of property, and so that's my question. I know, vague. I'm right there with you. She says, I would never leave if I had that property. I mean, I only posted those photos. There's even more. There's like two little properties on her property that she told the town that she wouldn't destroy or do anything with because they're like historic or something. But what they're built, I mean, the pictures that like TMZ, for example, posted, it looks like a disaster, whatever that this ginormous mansion, whatever they're doing. And that's fine, whatever. I know they have a big family. But it includes like an indoor pool, which I'm just like, an indoor pool. Just like, I don't know. I have so many questions, but I would be there all the time. It's literally paradise. What is she doing? And she could literally, like, I mean, 110 acres. I mean, she could even have like, you know, I wouldn't trust her with animals, but I'm just saying, even if she had like, since she's clearly not spending any time there, even if she donated like, I don't know, 20 of those acres or something as like a temporary overflow, as like, for example, like there's a lot of rescues going on right now or something for animals. Like, there's so many other things she could do to rebrand, but what is she doing? Oh yeah, this was the article actually I found where it says how they build their home, and says, we've had this property for 4 years now, and I'm just desperate to get shovels in the ground and be living on this land and enjoy it. And yeah, it basically, this was the source where I got where it said that there was like over 110 acres. She went to like a planning board meeting to basically just say that I think that they're gonna like not do anything to two of the homes, but anyways, but this is how she's trying to rebrand. I mean, and she didn't post this. This was actually posted by someone else, but she was at the opening of like some salon in the city, in New York City, with like, an Hermes bag. These are very expensive bags. And I'm just like, girl, what are you doing? This is the worst rebrand I've ever seen in my life. Notice that it's also a salon that doesn't carry your Target hair care. So it's just like, I don't know what is going on there. Yeah, and then I don't know if you guys saw this article, but this was that same writer, Eumonia Dikes, and I think that's how you say her name. She's done a lot of good articles, but this one she really went in, basically breaking down like the 47.1. And there was one part of it I thought was interesting if you guys want to go there. And let me just check in. Yes. NYC, they're overextended. Well, see, I don't know. I'm just wondering why, like, I need to talk to like an actual CPA. I want to know why those bills haven't been paid. It doesn't make sense to me because, like, for example, I don't think that they would like walk away from that property or that home. That's like an incredible asset that they have. And it's like, it looks like paradise. So it seems, and it obviously, I don't think it's like them not paying, right? It has to go to the CPA or like their finance manager. I want to know why the finance people aren't paying. Is there like some sort of like priority of other bills that are having to get paid? Like, are they bleeding money to the lawyers? Have they paid their lawyers? Did the lawyers give them a discount? I have so many questions. It says Ryan gave a creepy hug to a band member. Oh my God, why is he always creepy? Oh yeah, and I heard something else. Didn't he do something about a banana or something? It says vague same, but I would have paid the builders and finished the house. Well, and also, so like, I don't know about you guys, but like where I live, you can't just like not pay your bills. Like there's like a lot of there's usually a deadline. It's like, you know, here's the bill date, and then here's the deadline to pay it. And if you don't, then there's consequences. So that's where I have questions. Trish says, I've never seen someone so litigious except for a podcast I listened to. The man was an attorney and lost his license, but would sue people to make money. He would represent himself. Oh my God. Well, I'm glad he lost his license. That's crazy. Pound Ridge is their Westchester. Yeah, it's pretty nice. So look at Gelth, you're getting all these happy birthdays in the chat. Fig says, I would have paid my contractors too, or wouldn't have had the work done. I mean, yeah, and all I don't know. Maybe out there they don't care, but like at least where I am, it's like if you don't pay someone, like everyone's gonna know. Also, that's the other thing, and also why would you do that? And these were all apparently all the work stopped in December. So I'm just like, why is she not there? Like, why is she posting pictures in Fendi? I'd be posting pictures of myself, like, or of the lake, of the plants. There's probably so many like birds and stuff there. I mean, it literally looks like paradise. What is she doing? DFJ, it's a shakedown by RRBL. They want Wayfair to pay for their massive fraud scheme. Yeah, but their finance manager, like that puts them in a really weird position. Like, I don't think that they could ethically continue like representing these people if they're not paying their bills. You know, like I don't get it. What do you think like Ryan and Blake are like, yo, don't pay any of the bills that are going to be coming in our big, plantation project out in New York. They can't just say that. So that's my question. I don't really I don't know. So Gloria says, time to sell some property and pay your bills. Blake, I agree. So we're gonna keep going. And I just want to see, I feel like the contractor's still here. Hold on. The contractors put the lien on because their state, they have 4 months after completion to put mechanics liens. I mean, but still, even 4 months, that's so long. That is so long to not pay. DFJ, did you hear that Blake and Ryan, didn't pay a farm for their kids writing lessons? An insider told Shaw or Shearsty Flaw that. Wow, no, I didn't know that. Well, okay, so let's talk about this 47.1 real quick. I'm going to go right to it. And so basically, this is just from this article, and it's in the description. If you guys, all of her articles are very well thought out, and they're very long. And so it's definitely, if you just want to read it, but there was one part of it I thought was interesting where she says that the biggest proof of Reynolds' thumb on the scale for this lawsuit can be found in an amicus brief. Remember those amicus briefs, you guys? It says, yes, the same amicus brief discussed before, the one submitted by the two co-sponsors of AB 933, Ezra Hudson's organization, and the law firm that represented Charlotte Bennett against Andrew Cuomo. Hold on one sec. Let me put myself down here so I can make this a little bit bigger, maybe. Okay, and this was the quote of this footnote here. And it says, and this is from the amicus brief writers. Oh, it says, in the brief, there is another blink and you miss it footnote near the end. It reads, to make an end run around AB 933, the Baldoni plaintiffs argue that the law only protects the individuals who make the statement here, Miss Lively. Yet they then attempt to argue that both Mr. Reynolds and Miss Sloan are agents of Miss Lively, so she is liable for statements they made, even if she would not be liable under AB 933 for making those same statements. Even if Mr. Reynolds and Miss Sloan were found to be agents of Miss Lively, any statement they made as her agent should fall under the privilege protection of AB 933 if they would have been privileged had Miss Lively made them herself. Finding otherwise would undercut the purpose of AB 933 by stripping victims of the protections of AB 933. And so she says, translation, if Lively statements have legal immunity under Section 47.1, then Reynolds and Sloan's statements should also have legal immunity under Section 47.1 since they are acting as her representatives. This is, frankly, a jaw-dropping legal argument to come from the sponsors of AB 933. For here is what the law says, and then she actually says what the law says. And it says right here in plain language, a communication must be about one's own experience, not someone else's. Reynolds and Sloan are not eligible for this privilege whatsoever. Wayfair's argument is correct. And this was the part I thought was really profound of what she said. There are only 3 possible explanations for this footnote and its misinterpretation of the statute. 1, the co-sponsors of this law didn't read or understand the law they sponsored. i.e. the sponsors are incompetent, which I agree with that. 2, they know and understand what the law says, yet still agreed to allow it to be exploited to shield 2 non-victims from liability for their crimes, which I also agree with, i.e. the sponsors are corrupt. I see that too. Or 3, someone slipped in an edit at the last minute and the authors are unaware of the footnote, i.e. there was an act of fraud against the sponsors. No matter what the reason, the existence of this paragraph undermines every ounce of activism and advocacy that was ever poured into this law. It is astounding that anyone could, with a straight face, argue that Reynolds should be granted legal immunity under Section 47.1, that any lawyer or advocate would agree to write this footnote and willingly abuse the law to benefit Reynolds, whether it's Hudson, the law's co-sponsors, or someone else, is unbelievable. And to say that finding otherwise would strip victims of protections, absurd. Thus, the real beneficiary of Hudson and Michael Gottlieb's constant drumbeat for Section 47.1 is revealed. It's Reynolds, not Lively. Reynolds, the man who is deeply misogynistic, that he leveraged his wife's gender to hijack a film, threw her out to the media wolves when the 2 of them got caught, hijacked the entire #MeToo movement so he could hide behind a law that was never meant for him, and use those same lawmakers to carve out an exception for him. So it goes on. I mean, it's a really good read, and I do have it in the description, but I will also just quickly, I'm just going to post it in the chat, just, just to, if you guys want it, so you can, open it and bookmark it for later. It's a, as always, she's very thorough in her research. And this came up because like I was back and forth with someone who was talking to me about 47.1 and how like it's not a problem, because a lot of people want to say it's not problematic. And I'm like, no, it is problematic. And even though I think that like it most likely will get shut down in New York and Texas, I think it's still problematic for anyone who's falsely accused in California, because unless they have the types of backing and funding that like Baldoni had, it is really, I feel like it protects false accusers. And the problem, and the one of the reasons I think that, do you guys remember Elise from the she was one of the people, one of the co-sponsors of the bill. She was one of the amicus brief writers. She was the one that had the lawsuit, for defamation that she lost against the guy. But because someone asked her about that, they're like, well, this law protects false accusers. And she's like, well, it doesn't matter if it protects false accusers as long as it also protects real victims. And the fact that she said that is when I was like, that is a problem. And the co-sponsor admitted this problem. So screw all of you. And I'm just like, why are we having to wait so long for 47.1 to be rolled on? Christina, hello. Did I miss anyone? I missed you. How are you? So, okay. We are, I think we are done with that section. Yes, exposing the courtroom. You guys, I'm going to have to, real quick, I'm just going to check what's going on over there, okay? I will be right back. I do have someone in the house. I just want to make sure everything's okay. So I will be back this intermission. 1 second. Do you want me to play an Aussie video? Well, it'll be 1 second. I'll be right. Okay, well, it's going to be a while, so we're just going to keep going, whatever it is, what it is. So Aussie protects mama from strangers normally, except, oh my God, he had a dental appointment. Not yesterday, it was Wednesday, right? Whatever drug they gave him, it's still affecting him. They did tell me it would take like 48 hours, 48 to 72 hours or something to wear off. But oh my God, he is like, he's just not himself. Let me see if he's in the catio. No, he's not. Because he's normally he would come out and say hi to the worker, but he's just like in his own, whatever the meds are. But the good news is that they didn't have to extract any teeth. The strange news is there are 2 teeth just missing. He just is missing 2 teeth. And we have no idea from what. And so anyways, but he has clean teeth now. He really needed that. So, okay, we are going into this now, exposing the courtroom. So we just went over a loser who was Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds, the biggest losers of them all. Now we are going to go to a winner. So this is probably going to get me kicked off YouTube. I sent Christina, because I had made a short of this video and I was going to post it, and then I realized I was like, oh, I don't think that I can do that. But I think I could do it this way. So I don't know if you guys saw this, but basically there was an attorney in, this is God, I just forgot where we are. Where is she from? Oh, Texas, duh. In Texas, who said that it said the N-word. His name was Phillips. It was like Matthew Phillips said the N-word, and he was held in contempt for saying the N-word multiple times during a court proceeding. And so that actually happened. And I will just, if you this is the transcript of it. So that did happen. And then let's go back to here. And so then this woman,
oh, here we go. So Mr. Nigga right here. Yeah, that's your ass.
So you the one
I
like
want
saying
you
the
the one
right?
like call people niggas and shit.
You gonna
Call me a
N-word
nigga.
today?
Call me one.
I bet you won't call her in front of a black man like
I bet
that.
you won't call
In
me
fact,
no nigga.
let me help you. You call a black woman in the word, call me that.
No, call me that.
I dare you to do it. And I swear, oh God, I'll make you taste the ancestors.
Me too.
You a coward. Call that black woman the N-word. You a real coward,
Why
man.
would you
We'll
do
get you
that?
inside.
Now go ahead.
Go right ahead.
Go ahead.
I guarantee you wouldn't do it in front of me.
Come on.
I know, in fact, I know you won't. Say the N-word in front of me.
Come on. Go on in there.
And I guess you'll taste everything for the ancestors.
Go on in there.
Say it in front of me. I dare you to say it.
What is your name?
It's Quanell X, but you'll learn it real well today.
Yeah.
Say it. I bet you won't say N-word in my face. See, you talk to black women like that by themselves.
Mm-hmm.
You intimidate black women by themselves. But a black man, you won't open your goddamn mouth.
Mm-hmm.
I dare you to say it.
Mm-hmm. That hearing aid.
I dare you to say it.
Mm-hmm. With that hearing aid in your ear, shit, get your old ass in there. Run around here with your bald head ass, you old spot liver face looking bitch. But I ain't playing with you.
So would you like to make a comment about what you said or what happened?
I'm not allowed to make a comment as a president.
So that's really making a statement online or anything like that?
Who are you?
Well, you witnessed what happened?
There's a public statement online that is circulating. What I will say is I thank everyone for their support.
oops. Okay, well, so the whole point of me sharing that was just that we know her. And remember this stream that we did with the judges behaving badly, and there was the woman with the nails, and she exposed this, she had exposed this judge. Remember the IT judge, the one who was so rude to the IT worker, and then we found out all sorts of things, like he was like had filed bankruptcy and like whatever. But all of the emails that we found of how he spoke to the clerks was from that lady. So that same lady, she's out there in Texas. It was this one, remember? Oops.
Here we go.
Oops,
So,
not that one, not that one. Oh, it's going to play the same one again. Darn it. I posted the wrong one twice. But let me, oh no, there it is. Oops. This one.
I am addressing, because I got a lot of stuff to address, right? But the main thing I want to address is this judge, very zesty, that's in Harris County. Judge Nathan Milleron.
Yeah, so remember her? I was like, we know her. And so I thought that was like pretty cool that we saw her again in the Texas court. And if you guys are wondering what happened to that lawyer, it says the judge sentenced Phillips to 3 days in jail and a $500 fine. However, both penalties were suspended on the condition that Phillips submit written apologies to the court and to the black attorney on the opposing side, Brenda DeRune, by June 30th. So, I mean, why does he have a whole month to apologize? I mean, he should be able to do that pretty quickly. And also his client ended up losing. So I just thought that was interesting. But yeah, it was the nails. Remember the nails? I was like, we know her. So I just thought that was like a little bit of a win. Kenny, how are you? Like a higher level judge, I think there should be a fine or something. But then again, there is free speech. Shoot, I don't know how I feel. Oh, for what? Yeah, he did punish him, but he has to do like an apology note. Laura, how are you? Look at, we have all 3 mods. It's like a miracle when we have all 3, make a wish. It's like it means that something good is going to happen, which is amazing, because to have like all 3 of you here makes my day, because it's been one hell of a crazy week. I can't even like tell you how crazy it's been. It's the first chance I've even had to breathe, and I'm only halfway breathing. So we're going to keep going. Okay, so now we're going to go back to losers. And in fact, this is a Delulu loser because it's Lululemon. So this is a shout out. Is Vague still here? I don't know if I saw her. I saw her in the beginning, but Vague, if you are still here, this is because you, hello, Holly. How are you? Look at her little magic wands. Yeah, so basically, oh, you're here. Okay, so because you also, when we were talking about the other case, then we started talking about, the magistrate judge, and then I mentioned the Lululemon case, and then you said that they're being investigated by Texas, and I was like, okay, we're just gonna get all into it. So I actually, and I had, this is a post I had, see, this is from July 2025. So I had been like following this Lululemon Costco case since over a year. Well, I guess now it's just almost a year ago. And I said, as a customer and fan of Lulu, it hurts me to say this, but this Lululemon lawsuit is straight up Delulu, and it is. And then look, I have Afro Man right here. He says, no Lululemon pound cake for Delulu, because it really is crazy. Oh yeah, this is a little thing. See, it's a little GIF I made. Yeah. So basically. And I saw actually NAG did an update on this too, but don't worry, I have even more. So Costco, they settled their lawsuit with Lululemon, except for one jacket. And I think oops, let me go back. Let me see if this will let me open the article. Well, it just says Lululemon lawsuit against Costco wholesale over activewear lookalikes appears to be nearing an end as the parties settle all claims except those tied to a men's zip-up jacket. And so, yeah, let me see if I have my other post on it. Okay, yeah, this is the one I wanted. So we're going to open, oops, not that one. We're going to open this. Yeah, so when I had first read about this, I thought it was crazy. I was like, really, a sweatshirt, hoodie? You didn't invent this, Lulu. Be for real, for real. Like this is one of the items that they were saying, like, knock them off. I was like, okay. And hold on, it's gonna get a little more technical than this, but I just want to show you, this was the basics of when I was first reading it. And then this is the Danskin ladies half zip. So all of these have now been dropped. Oh, when I said scoop up the dupes while you can, this was the best one. This not the Danskin, the Spiders Woman yoga jacket was, in my opinion, was one of the best. I bought it because of this lawsuit, and it's almost exactly like the Lululemon one, except it's a little bit thicker, which actually is better for like in the garden and stuff, so I don't ruin it. Because my Lululemon one, I'm just have to treat it like, like it's gold or something, because it's any little thing and it'll stain or get ripped. Okay. And then this was so funny. These pants too. I thought this was so funny. I said, pants with no logo that stretches in 4 directions. You didn't invent this, Lulu. But it was even more than that. It was about something else. So I found this guy who did such a good job of, and so there's only one thing. It's the jacket, which is the one thing I don't have a photo of because it was a men's jacket and I thought it was ugly. But there was one guy who did a really good job breaking this down. And so we're going to watch the clip, but I'm pulling this out before I show it. Do I have sound on? Okay, good. Now I have like PTSD about the sound. Oops, I'm not sharing. Hold on. Okay, so basically there are utility patents, there are design patents, and then there's trade dress. And so it says like when it comes to protecting like intellectual property, that's going to be utility patents, which are going to be protecting functional patents and how things actually work. There's going to be design patents, which are going to be very specific in their scope. And then there's going to be something called trade dress. And this entire lawsuit covers trade dress. And so this is where it gets crazy, you guys, okay? And it says what Lululemon's doing here is they're covering specific design elements that they believe is proprietary to the brand. The other part of this is I really think Lululemon they're going down. This is a desperate move that they did. It was a horrible thing, in my opinion, that they did. But this guy is so good. So I'm going to have him explain it. And I have him linked below. But we're going to watch.
Okay, this one's going to be a little bit different. For those who don't know, Lululemon has sued Costco for alleged duping. Let's take a little bit closer look at the lawsuit. When it comes to protecting IP, there's going to be utility patents, which are going to be protecting functional patents and how things actually work. There's going to be design patents, which are going to be very specific in their scope. And they're what's going to be called trade dress. And this entire lawsuit covers trade dress. What trade dress would be is an iconic design element. Think Nike's Air Force Ones. Anything that is similar to that aesthetic, you know, and is already going to associate with Nike. What Lululemon's doing here is they're covering specific design elements that they believe is proprietary to their brand. So we actually have one of the alleged infringing items, which is the...
Okay, I'm going to skip forward though, because it gets really funny. He explains how like the crotch, like having, because they're trying to say, oh, well, they had extra room in the crotch area. And he's like, well, all of men's pants do. That's not like a thing that's specific to your brand. Okay, so then this is where it gets really funny when he talks about the pockets. Okay.
The pants, and ending which is overlapped by a decorative metal circle. The metal circle, in fact, is what's called a rivet. It's there to reinforce the pocket and make it stronger. So whenever you're putting your hand in and out, the tension is placed on the rivet. Let me show you something else that has these exact same elements. That is any pair of 5-pocket denim. We actually have a pair of Levi's 505, and this design is from 1967. You'll see that what Lululemon is claiming is a ornamental line that ends in a decorative metal circle is present in a almost 50-year-old design, because that's just how you design front pockets. The back yoke, which they claim is purely decorative, is present on their pant. It's present on the 5-pocket pant from Kirkland. It is also present in this almost 50-year-old design from Levi's. The fact that Lululemon is claiming that this is their trade dress is very questionable to me, because it is present in so many other designs. They're claiming that.
Yeah, so I think this guy like kind of did a mic drop on them everywhere, like Fabletics. Yeah, it says, does this mean we can't buy Danskin anymore? No, you still can. So all of those designs. So but we actually don't know what the agreement they came to when they settled. That's the only thing. But so like all the other ones that they were saying, like the Danskin and the spider jacket, all of that stuff, we don't know if it was like, okay, they can keep selling it, or like, okay, we agree not to sell it, or like we're gonna like, you know, pay or something. We have no idea what those things are. But we do know that it is the men's jacket one is the only thing that like they're still going on. And I have it pulled up over here. You can see it. It just says like, yeah, it's just for this one last thing. And so, God, that was May 15th. So basically it was just a joint stipulation for order to consolidate the ordered dates to file an amended complaint filed by plaintiffs Lululemon. And they want to like refile it, I guess, just for this one thing. Yeah. So all of these ones were dismissed. So the Kirkland 5-pocket pant, because like what? The Spider Woman's jacket with the parties to bear their own attorney's fees, cost, expenses. And then, so it's just the jacket is the only thing that remains, the men's jacket. So I thought that was so interesting. This guy's really good. Let me see do you want me to do an oops? Oh, that was my own channel. Hold on one second. Let me go back to, yeah, let's go to here. Do you guys, let me see if there's anything else interesting.
It's just their iconic look. One thing that you'll also see in Lululemon's lawsuit is that they show examples that do not, quote unquote, infringe on their trade dress. However, you'll notice that these are quite cherry picked because all of these are side access pockets. Their final claim on the ABC pant is the design features of the ABC trade dress are not comparatively simple or inexpensive to manufacture because the elements are more complex than other garments. That is true. You're adding more panels, you're adding more sewing steps. However, the back yoke being present in pretty much a 50-year-old design, from a pattern making perspective, it is functional. The gusset, from a pattern making perspective, is functional. The shape of this gusset is functional. The way you actually sew it with one long inseam is going to be the best way to sew it for manufacturing purposes. Having one long inseam that is top stitched to remove the bulk from the serge, and then sewn at this angle, this is going to be a very easy curve to manufacture for sewing. If you're the back vent, it allows you to remove heat from the body. You'll see this a lot in hiking shirts and very common in jackets as well. When brands are not performing as well as they should be in their minds for sales, this is one of the first things that they start doing. And it seems just like a checkbox because I saw Nike do that with Sue Surgeon. I am now seeing Lululemon, which also had a poor performing quarter, launch this lawsuit. But it is important that we do not let brands claim something that they did not invent and is not trade dress specifically to them as their IP. If they are
So I'm just saying, this guy was so good. I was like, wow, I thought that was one of the best explanations I had personally seen about this lawsuit. And wait, so let me go back to the chat. Christina, what are you talking about? You're always full of so much information. Okay, so she says, wait, I have to go back to, okay. I just learned about the rivets. Minors were ripping their pants, so a jean maker added the rivets. There used to be one in the crotch area, but it kept burning the men's private area. They had to remove the one in the crotch because when they would be by the fire, it would heat up and then they would stand up and burn their privates. Where did you learn that? That definitely didn't come like on one of those popsicle sticks with like fun facts. So that is crazy. That is so funny. I love you to death. Thanks for that very insightful information. I am Irma says, I hate Lululemon pants because they have a similar style around the abdomen. Oh. So what do you guys think? It says, and Pam says, I live in yoga pants and PJs, can't justify buying Lulus, but like dance skin. I mean, honestly, I like the ones from Costco. Like, I think that their athletic leggings are just as good in my opinion. It burned their balls. Maybe they put some teeth in them. What? I am Irma. Oh my gosh, everyone's so funny. Wait, what? It says, wow, Jen Abel won an award, PR Strategist of the Year. Well, congratulations, Jen Abel. I'm a big fan. I'm a big supporter. Again, my very first videos on this channel have to do with the Stephanie Jones case of it. I think it started with her. It had to do with what happened to Jen Abel. So yeah. Kenny says the Lululemon logo looks like an Aries symbol to me. It kind of does, doesn't it? But I think that, I don't know. I think that they're the losers in this. And then let's just keep going. So is this the article? Yeah. Oops. Don't sell my information. Oh my gosh. Don't sell my information. Okay. So let's go to, is this one sharing? Let me see. Yeah. Okay. So this is basically, it just says, this is just Lululemon's lawsuit with Costco grasping at straws. Now that headlines have faded, let's take a closer look at Lululemon and its lawsuit against Costco for allegedly infringing on its patents and protected trade dress by selling lookalike products. The suit explicitly cites dupes. Okay, so then it just explains them. And then it just says misplaced energies. This is not Lululemon's first tangle against copycats. In 2021, it sued Peloton over its dupes, which eventually led to a 5-year partnership agreement in which Lulu became Peloton's primary athletic wear supplier. However, it is apparently the first time Costco has been hit, even though its business model is built on creating dupes that sell for much less than the name brand. Lululemon's chances of prevailing and being compensated for lost profits, receiving royalties, and or unspecified damages are slim to none. In such cases, it isn't enough to prove product, pants, or trade dress were copied, and that's particularly hard where fashion is concerned. The plaintiff must also prove that the offending party intended to trick customers into thinking they were getting the real thing. So I think that's key because it's like you obviously know it's not Lululemon when it says Kirkland on it or when it says Danskin on it. So anyways, I just thought that was so funny. That was a great article, and I thought that summed it up well. And so here, this is a shout out to Vague. So she's the one who's like, oh, well, they're also being investigated in Texas. And so this says Lululemon's response to Texas investigation into forever chemicals and activewear apparel. It says Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton has launched an investigation into Lululemon to determine if the company's athletic apparel contains toxic forever chemicals, despite its sustainability-focused marketing. And this isn't the first, oops, sorry, I wasn't sharing that. This isn't the first state actually that has investigated Lululemon. North Carolina did as well, but it looked like it like stopped or something or got dropped because one of them with North Carolina specifically was like PFAS, like the PFAS, whatever. And so that was before this. So anyway, so Attorney General Ken Paxton, this is Texas, issued a civil investigative demand, CID, to Lululemon as part of an investigation into whether the company has misled consumers about the safety, quality, and health impacts of its products. Lululemon is a leading activewear brand that generated over $11 billion in the fiscal year 2025 alone. The company markets itself as a wellness-focused lifestyle brand, emphasizing sustainability and performance. However, emerging research and consumer concerns have raised questions about the potential presence of certain synthetic materials and chemical compounds in their apparel that may be associated with endocrine disruption, infertility, cancer, and other health issues. And Vague told me it was like the JJ issue. So I literally was Googling like the JJ issues and Lululemon. And then I was just like getting all these irrelevant things. So I don't know how she found that. But again, you know, our Google history, just to make sure we try to get the information, we, you know, all of us is crazy. And so anyways, yeah, it says he's going to investigate, will examine whether Lululemon's athletic apparel contains PFAS or forever chemicals that their health conscious customers would not expect based on the brand's marketing. So we'll see what comes of that, you know, like, I mean, this was a press release from last month, but I haven't seen anything. There's one more thing. Oh yeah, we're going to get to that. There's one more thing though with Lululemon. If you guys remember last time when we did the Fabletics, how they were getting the being sued in the class action for the tariffs. Well, I also found so is Lululemon, so is Costco, so is Nike. And apparently like it's happening to other companies as well. Those are the ones that first came up, but I was like, oh my God. So everyone's getting sued right now. It's fun stuff. Costco has great stuff. I agree. They have great stuff. Okay. So we're going to keep going. Are you guys still with me? We have, yes, another loser. A Delulu loser is Laura Owens, and she got her plea deal extended, the plea deal deadline extended, but not her skirt or sleeves extended. Again, this woman has been in court for years, so many times. It's like, you cannot possibly tell me she does not know what the appropriate attire is for court. Like, I would never. I mean, what is she doing? Like, her skirt is like way up, like over halfway above her thighs. She's wearing, like, she's showing her shoulder. She's wearing like a tank top. Yeah, I don't know. I'm just saying, I don't know why that she got an extension for this plea deal. Maybe she has to get a new lawyer. But you know, we want to see, it's just a lot of felony charges. She falsely accused several men of being pregnant, and like she basically tried to ruin their lives. And so we'll see what happens with that. Oh, also, actually, quick shout out. You guys know bigtiffdog. If you follow this case, she's friends with Lauren Knighty. She does a lot of financial stuff, and she was on with like, what is the other one's name? Bacon something, who's been covering this Laura Owens case. They went through all the financials, like the bankruptcy case and everything for Laura Owens and her family. You know, her dad was like a famous radio host in San Francisco, and it looks like they have taken out loan after loan and mortgage, whatever. Their finances are insane. And so it was, if you're not like financially savvy, I'm definitely, I don't understand this. Like, I guess this is like a right brain thing or something that I really wish I could understand, but she explains it so well. They were a good duo. It was a good stream. I'm going to remember to link it. I don't have it linked, but I will link it in the description afterwards. Okay. So more winner. This is just a really small one. But remember this hearing for the guy who threw the rock at the monk seal in Hawaii? Oh, two things on that. Wait, one, I called the hotel that he was staying at, and I asked, like, are there signs? Because he's trying to say, like, he didn't know that there was seals. First, he said, like, he didn't know there were seals where in Hawaii or whatever. And I asked them, like, don't you guys have signs anywhere? She's like, well, yeah, when you check in, we have signs about it at the check-in desk. And she's like, and then we also put it on the beach, and if they ever come close to the beach, we mark off the area. They were down the street a little bit. If you look at the police report or the complaint that we read last stream, he was like maybe 5 blocks or 5 houses down on the beach. And so it was like private property. But yeah, and then he said there were sea turtles or whatever. We didn't see any turtles, but anyways, the Associated Press will be there at the May hearing, and they got permission to media blogging. So I don't know if they mean like live tweeting but this is Associated Press. And so not really sure, or if it just means they're allowed to be in there and write live as it happens, or if they're allowed to, like, because it doesn't say video, it's federal court. You know, we don't usually get videos in federal court, but I don't know what it means, but they did get permission to be in there and to do whatever they're going to do. So, and at all future on the record hearings. So that's pretty cool. Oh, sorry. No, never mind. That is, yeah, that's what it is. The Associated Press representative. So I thought that was cool. Let me see the chat. How y'all doing? Is the seal okay? The seal is okay. So that's good. It doesn't look, at first it seemed like maybe if she was startled, it didn't look like she was actually hurt. Thank goodness. Thank God he can't throw, but apparently he says that the seals are aggressive where he fishes in Washington State. So I'm like, is he throwing boulders at seals there? Like, what the heck? It's crazy. Roses Wild said if he didn't know there were seals, then how is he protecting imaginary turtles from seals? I don't know. I think, and he thought he was a hero too, remember? Christina says this woman needs to be labeled as a vexatious litigant. I wonder that too. Seriously. But she can't, I don't think she can, right? Because I think that's only when they represent themselves, right? So she has a lawyer right now. It says, oh my God, didn't the judge tell her attorney to give her his jacket? You guys, and at first I was like, is it just me? Am I just like super like conservative? But I'm not. Like, but even I, like, I mean, I was called as like maybe like a year ago, like as a I was subpoenaed to be a witness for this one case. And, you know, I don't know, maybe you just respect the court. Like you dress conservatively. It's like as if like, you know, you're going to church or something, you know. It's crazy to me that like that's what she was wearing. And this is like her, I don't know, probably 100th time in court. Vig says the extension is ridiculous. It is out of control, ridiculous. Irma says, I wonder how much market share Lululemon currently has. They used to be so popular. They were, and they're like super like expensive. I think I own one pair of leggings from like college, and like it was like the only one that I could afford from them. And then I have one long sleeve like tennis jacket thing that I got as a gift for a tennis tournament. And that's it. Like they are pretty expensive. Oh, I missed Kenny what she said. She said the Lululemon logo. Oh yeah. Looks like the arrows thing. Yeah, and then okay, so we're just gonna keep going down here. Good. Okay, so we're just gonna keep going with the cases. So we have, oh, I'm gonna check this brief. Okay, so last I saw, I'm gonna check it right now, that there was a brief filed to another like motion to dismiss, it looks like, and it was filed, but the document's up, you guys, it's up, it's here. Should we look at it? Okay, it's the brief in support of defendant's motion to dismiss for due process violation or alternatively for spoliation instruction. Okay, wait, before we get into this, okay, so it wasn't there when I looked, like literally I checked it before I made this stream. Wow. So, okay, this is the Aaron Spencer case, and okay, we're gonna read this brief, but let me just go see, because I had 2 more slides on this. Tomorrow, just FYI, the Defense Diaries, they're doing a fundraising stream for him, and it's 10 a.m. Central Time to 10 p.m. So it's like all day. They're gonna have like all these streamers, David Yannetti, or I guess he's not a streamer, it's a lawyer, Melanie Little, Ian Runkle. I'm sure you guys know a lot of these names, Lauren Conlin. And it was so funny because they're like, we're having a lot of heavy hitters that have covered this case. I'm like, well, I was like, I've covered this case, but I'm not a heavy hitter. But I'll be there. I'll be supporting, of course. Well, not in the beginning. In the beginning, I won't be there, but in the afternoon and on as much as I can, because I think that's amazing. And so that was just because he's, you know, I can't believe they're still taking that case to I still can't believe it's going to trial. But yeah, so we're gonna read the brief because look, see, it wasn't there when I looked earlier. It hadn't been up on the docket yet, but now it's there. So we also did get an order granting an unopposed motion to allow use of a certified facility dog pursuant to ACA. And so I'm guessing that's like maybe emotional support dog. And I'm not sure, maybe it's for his daughter, who I'm sure is probably going to want to be there, or maybe it might even be a witness, or who knows what it's for, but maybe it's just, that's what I think it is, because I don't know what other certified facility dog. I don't think they mean a security dog. I'm guessing it's like some sort of emotional support dog. And then, yes. And then we had this brief that was yesterday. And then like, I checked, you guys. So this must be a sign that we're supposed to look at it. So if you're all still with me, you guys want to look at it? It says, I found Defense Diaries because of you, DFJ. Oh, thank you. That's awesome. Vig says, I got called out when I took my suit jacket off and forgot I had a sleeveless shell type on underneath in court, right? Okay, so it's not just me. I'm like, what the hell is she wearing? Let's look at it. Hey, Trish. Okay. Let's look at it. Okay. I'm so excited, actually, because like I was like, I want to see what it says. And this is in the description. I'm just gonna mute for 1 second. I'm gonna get a refill of the tea. You guys, there's still the worker in my house. It's a little awkward because like Ozzy won't come out. Okay. Okay. Wow, this is breaking. Okay. And let me make sure you can see it. Okay, cool. It says, oops. The defendant, Aaron Spencer, by and through his attorney, Aaron Casanelli, and Michael Kiel, Kaiser of Lassiter and Casanelli, submits this brief in support of defendant's motion. Oh, sorry, I'm not sharing it. Motion to dismiss for due process violation or alternatively for spoliation instruction. Okay, yeah, it's on there now. Kenny's just caught up now. Okay, great. We just got to this, so we're going to read it. And then it says, yes, people like Ella don't get called out. It's so frustrating. They just do whatever they want. But don't you think she sees the other people around her? She knows. But like maybe like, I don't know, like girl, she owns things that cover her up. We've seen her wear a riding jacket. So welcome to the prison, Kenny, says Christina. You guys are so funny. Okay. We're just going to keep reading. The case arose after the decedent, Michael Fossler, despite related charges and a no contact order, transported Spencer's minor daughter to engage in continued criminal sex acts against her. The same prosecutor's office trying Spencer for murder charged Fossler with various crimes in July 2024, exposing him to life sentences. Yet he was released on a meager $50,000 bond with a no contact order as to minors. Undeterred, Fossler continued to SA the minor victim, and on October 8, 2024, he picked her up from her house in the middle of the night to do so. While searching for her, Spencer found her in Fossler's truck, and Fossler fled with her. Spencer disabled the truck, and after a threatening confrontation, Spencer shot Fossler, and they have an exhibit. The state has charged Spencer with second-degree murder, and Spencer has raised various justification defenses. And then, so there's two footnotes here. It just says the document should be filed. This document should be filed on a public docket, but does not appear to have been filed. Ooh, what does it? Oh, the arrest warrant. Oh, burn. And then the second one says Spencer incorporates herein. Let me make sure my sound's on. You can hear me? Okay. I'm always nervous now. Spencer incorporates herein, as if stated word for word, all exhibits admitted at the December 18th, 2025 hearing and all exhibits attached as April 20, 2026 motion to reconsider ruling limiting 404A2 evidence to enter order setting aside prior order as to expert witness and to enter order granting relief for state's destruction of evidence. Okay. So it says this motion concerns the destruction or loss of the single most important piece of objective, contemporaneous, non-testimonial, and direct evidence in this prosecution, the dash camera recovered from inside the descendant's truck. And hold on, is there anyone new here who doesn't know who these characters are? Do you need a quick picture of them to put in your mind? I can show you real quick because I don't know. I mean, most of the people here, I think, know this case because I've talked about it so much, but I don't know if there's anyone new. I just don't want you to feel like we don't know, we don't see you. So I have it right here. And well, this judge is not here anymore. She was removed from the case, but this is Aaron Spencer, and then this was Michael Fossler. So just so you guys can see. And actually, this is a better picture of the former judge. Now there's a new judge. But yeah. So, here. Michael Fossler, so he's dead now. Oh, this is the new judge. Judge Ralph Wilson, he's retired. This is Aaron Spencer. So that you all can put faces with these names. So let's go back to the reading right here. Okay, so it says the dash cam recovered from inside descendant's truck. No comparable evidence exists to replace the lost audio and visual recordings, which uniquely bore on the disputed issues of justification, aggression, escalation, and reasonable fear. Unlike witness recollections shaped by stress, hindsight, or self-interest, the missing footage would have provided the only neutral and contemporaneous account of the events immediately preceding the shooting. Because the evidence was uniquely capable of objectively resolving in Spencer's favor the core disputes in this homicide prosecution, a meaningful remedy for this conduct is necessary. Even under the narrowest application, the Trombetta and Youngblood, the law enforcement conduct in this case compels the conclusion that dismissal, or at a minimum, evidentiary sanctions is warranted. This case presents far more than negligence, inadvertence, or bureaucratic error. It presents a pattern of intentional and inexplicable law enforcement conduct surrounding the discovery, handling, review, concealment, and ultimate loss of critical evidence, the cumulative force of which compels finding bad faith. Just as circumstantial evidence generally is not evaluated as isolated links in a chain, but as strands woven into a cable whose persuasive strength derives from the interrelationships of the facts themselves and whose combined force exceeds the impact of the individual acts, the actions of law enforcement must be viewed in totality. Wow. Okay. So, but didn't we? I feel like they've filed something like this before. Why are they doing it again? Maybe they had to refile it. Are you guys all still with me? Let me check in. It says, oh, I didn't know she was removed. How did I not know this? Girl, Christina, where have you been? Oh my gosh, Christine. Okay, we have to just real quickly, I'm just going to have to play this just to at least catch Christina up. Maybe it'll help some of you guys. So just so you all know, I have this playlist right here. This is the Spencer playlist. Judge be removed. Supreme Court removed Judge Barbara Elmore from the Aaron Spencer case. You all, this is Barbara Elmore. They have on the website. This is what she looks like. Okay, so on Friday, so the judge refused to recuse herself. On Friday, the Supreme Court they told the judge to step down. So it says Barbara Elmore removed from this Aaron Spencer's case to be reassigned to a special circuit judge appointed by this court. And then saying, and this is so embarrassing, but we're not even done yet. We're not done yet because things are just about to get even better. So let's keep going. I've never even seen this. The state of Arkansas House of Representatives was a letter to Miss Emily Abbott, who's the executive director of the Arkansas Judicial Discipline and Disability Commission. The member of the Arkansas General Assembly, we write regarding the ongoing trial of Mr. Aaron Spencer in Lonoke County. We have serious concerns about whether he is receiving a fair trial, and we believe these concerns require our attention as legislators. The Arkansas Supreme Court has already intervened in this case. However, if the documented pattern of constitutional violations continues, we are prepared to fulfill our constitutional obligations by using the full range of powers entrusted to us by the people of Arkansas. And then it's respectfully, look at all these state representatives. I mean, Barbara Elmore. I mean, not only is this so embarrassing, such a bad day, and the DA's office for freaking supporting her and trying to justify what she was doing on this case. Shame on them. But this is embarrassing for them too. I mean, look at that. 10 of these state representatives signed this about her unacceptable, oversight of this case. Okay, are you guys ready for this? Things get worse for Barbara Elmore. Barbara Elmore hit and run surveillance footage. Is this woman drunk? Yesterday, the Supreme Court of Arkansas removed disgraceful Barbara Elmore from the Aaron Spencer case just days before trial was set to begin. And then we get this footage. This is her driving to work, the courthouse. This is 9:30 in the morning. She sideswipes this car next to her. Now she's trying to back up, but then she's stuck, because the mirror, she got stuck in the car. So she can't back up. So then she just keeps going forward over the edge, over the sidewalk, and then drives back around. She's like, uh-oh. She checked out her work, didn't leave a note, just keeps walking. The owner of this car filed a police report that arrested, and yeah, girl. Okay, this is for you, Christina, so you can catch up. But that was basically the summary of it. But yeah, this was back in January. So yeah, back in January, she was removed. And not only was she removed, it was, oh my God. Then it was the House of Representatives wrote a letter to the Judiciary Committee, saying that they're watching this case. And then I know someone said, were you sleep modding? She said she could be. But yeah, just it's crazy. And then it was this all happened at one time. It was probably one of my favorite streams because we just went through all of it. Someone got the footage of her hitting a parked car in the courthouse parking lot at 9:30 in the morning. They had filed a police report because they didn't know who did it. And then they had to pull the footage. And so then this and I have it linked in that stream of the local paper, the guy who did this article, who pulled that footage of her. And he's also the one who got us the most recent photo of her. Cause she's catfishing on the website. She's trying to be trying to make us think that she looks 50 years younger than she does. Cause she has her first photo, but no, she's whatever. The whole thing is nuts. So we're going to keep going. I'm so glad. Yeah. So she's removed. So that's why we have this one. This case is this whole case is so crazy. And he shouldn't even be like, they shouldn't even be bringing these charges, in my opinion. And also, happy 4 months to our chat baby just turned 4 months old. That is so exciting. Trish, that I love that. So wait, is your chat baby the same birthday as Gelth? Gelth also just turned 4 months old. Just kidding. It says, Christina, that was the trial I was going to watch until it was postponed, and I'm still going to go in June, which is so cool. Lori Jane's the one who like put this on our map, and yeah. So, and I know Christina's been following the trial with us, or the case with us, but I think that somehow in January, girl, I have a whole playlist. I have so many clips when she was removed. It was like a whole thing. So, anyways, yeah, June 22nd, she'll be there. Yeah, I know. Christina, this is a true story. She could have been modding multiple channels. There was a lot going on at that time. But, you know, it was huge news. It was crazy. She was removed. Can you believe that? It says she was catfishing for sure with that photo. Yeah, with the original one. So, anyways, we're going to get back. You guys want to keep reading this? We're going to keep reading this. Yeah, that'll be so cool, Lori Jane. It really will be so cool. And I do wonder, too, now that it is a new judge, if they'll allow cameras. It is a state court. Because the other judge wouldn't allow anything. So now it's a new judge. We'll see what happens. You say, I remember that stream. I was probably modding. You know what, girl? It's not even. I'm glad we got to replay that because it brings me so much joy every time I watch that video. Because like it was such an own of her, and it was something we had all been waiting on. Because she was a terrible, terrible, terrible judge. There's not that many judges that are as bad as her. Shout out to Laura Pasaglia in Sonoma County, California. I think that they're on the same page. Okay, we're going to keep reading. Hold on one second. Okay. You guys still here? So we're going to just keep reading. And yes, Vig said they did file something similar, but maybe because the other judge didn't rule on it. Maybe that's why we're here, but it's still important stuff in my opinion. So the exculpatory value of the dash camera was immediately apparent. The state violates a defendant's due process rights when it destroys or loses evidence whose exculpatory value is apparent before destruction, and the defendant is unable to obtain comparable evidence by any other reasonable means. Given the difficulty of demonstrating the precise content of evidence that no longer exists or what the destroyed evidence is, the focus is not on proving what is missing, but on the apparent value of it prior to destruction and how it would have been valuable to the defense. It said explaining that the burden is to prove it was material and had exculpatory value apparent before its destruction by, for instance, showing how the evidence would have shown the defendant did not do as alleged. Okay. Yeah, and remember, because the dash cam footage would have shown this, it would have shown Spencer's like allegate side of the story. It would have shown, you know, and this case is so frustrating. But the state in their last filing said, well, it also could have shown stuff that didn't help him. That was what they said. They're like, it doesn't matter. It's not here. It might not even had stuff on it that would help him. What? That was literally what they said. So I don't even know why they're bringing this case. It said, officers had information that made the exculpatory value of the dash cam apparent. McCain and other officers were aware of the unique circumstances that led to the shooting on October 8th, 2024, both before they arrived on scene and certainly when McCain manipulated the evidence resulting in its loss later that same day. By the time they arrived at the scene, Lonoke County Sheriff's Office, LCSO, officers knew they were responding to the shooting of a man with pending criminal SA-related charges by the father of the minor victim after he discovered the child in the abuser's truck in the middle of the night. Heather Malachi and Aaron Spencer. Malachi and Aaron Spencer had each called 911 that morning and advised of the scenario. And then it says the transcripts. In the first call, Heather Spencer told dispatch about Fossler's pending case, and he was messaging and brainwashing her, and Heather was afraid he was going to kill her. Malachi Spencer, am I saying that right? Malachi Spencer, the Spencer son, told dispatch his sister was missing, and he had no doubt Fossler was involved because he previously kidnapped and raped her. Finally, Spencer's 911 call following the shooting was clear. A man tried to kidnap my daughter. I just had to kill him. Quote. Even if he had not heard the 911 calls himself, discussions at the scene make clear that McCain and other officers knew the circumstances before the camera was removed from Fossler's vehicle. And then they cite the body cam footage at 1:37 a.m. the body cam at 2:04 a.m. dispatch call detail. It was also clear that evidence affirming the Spencer's account would clearly be exculpatory. Neither can the state suggest it was unclear whether exculpatory footage was captured. Body camera footage shows deputies and detectives, including McCranie and McCain, looking at the inside and outside of Fossler's truck with the dash camera and its illuminated screen visible. It says 2025, and then it has a transcript, and then the body cam. Okay. Inexplicably, neither of them preserved or secured it for hours. It is apparent the camera was recording when Spencer chased and later justifiably shot Fossler and captured relevant data from those events. The dash camera was mounted on Fossler's truck windshield with its main camera facing out the windshield and a second camera facing inside the truck towards the rear. Oh, wow. I thought it was on the facing the outside. Wow. When an SD card is inserted, as it was here, the camera automatically turns on and records when plugged in. Thus, when the screen is on, the dash camera is recording and displays the camera views on the screen. Given its placement, the dash camera captured visual and or audio footage of the driver and passenger and visual footage out the rear and front windshield. Oh my God. I don't know how I didn't know that it also was. I knew that there was a front and back, but I thought it was on outside the car, or I didn't realize it was capturing from the inside. Wow. Detective McCain confirmed the dash camera was powered on when he collected it, and the body camera footage from scene shows an illuminated screen. He could reasonably infer that it had been running earlier that morning, knew it likely had sound, and knew it had multiple cameras. Knowing all of this, along with knowledge of the events immediately preceding officers' arrival at the scene, it was apparent the dash camera captured exculpatory footage, and McCain and other officers would have immediately realized this significance. Indeed, he acted on this significance. He treated it differently than he did other evidence, delaying collecting it and then keeping it in his office and handling it personally rather than following evidentiary protocol to ensure its safety and ultimately losing it without any explanation for its loss. Oh my God. Other circumstances also indicate the apparent exculpatory value, efforts to disclaim responsibility and conceal its existence from Spencer. Deputy McCranie, who arrived first on scene, immediately recognized the dash camera's significance. By 2 a.m., he was inspecting Fossler's truck and looking for evidence that needed to be secured. McCain arrived on. It's McCain and McCranie. It's like Dumb and Dumber. It's like the Lonoke County version of Dumb and Dumber. McCain arrived on the scene about 2:23 a.m. McCranie informed the detective McCain about the dash camera before 4 a.m. McCain, on the other hand, testified McCranie did not inform him about the dash camera until 5:35 a.m. McCain ensured there would be no confirmation of his handling of the dash camera. Within minutes of his arrival on scene, McCain inspected the inside of Fossler's truck through the windows with a flashlight where the illuminated dash camera is apparent. A few minutes later, he began photographing Fossler's truck and instructed deputies to turn off their body cameras, another violation of LCSO policy. You guys, why is the DA bringing this case? They have it on body cam that they were instructed to turn off their body cameras at a crime scene, at a scene of a murder. I mean, what? Am I reading this right? Hello? What is happening? This is really important. I don't think we ever saw this, though. I don't know. Defense Diaries will be there before probably this time too. Yeah, I think they will. I mean, they're doing a whole 12-hour stream about it, so I would think they would be there. It would have shown the truth. Yes, Elsie, well said. You guys, my mind is blown right now. Yeah, I mean, I forgot how we knew it before, but we knew that they didn't have I thought they didn't have their body cameras on when they showed up. I didn't know that they had it when they showed up, and then they were told to turn them off at the crime scene. Are you serious right now? Oh, yes, this is so true. And as he won the primary for sheriff in March, beating the current sheriff. Yes, Aaron Spencer is he won the primary, so he is the candidate that will be running for sheriff against, he won for the Republican Party, I believe, so he'll be running against the Democratic one in November. And now he's like, you know, on trial for murder. It's insane. But he's doing it on the platform of like, this is what happened here. Like, look at all of this. Look at how many things went wrong here. And so like, he's running to make it, you know, things right. And so it resonates with a lot of people. This is so crazy to me. We're going to keep reading. But you guys, there's still someone in my house. Should I check on them? I mean, let me see. I gave him my number to text me. You guys, that's so weird. Hold on. Do you guys care? We're taking a 1 second break. I'm gonna play one more clip. I'm just gonna check and make sure everything's okay in my house right now. I have a really short one. Let me see. Let's do this one. Judge. The judge had to cancel her appointment this afternoon, and she sure let everyone know about it. I'm sorry, ma'am, but Aaron Spencer, his freedom, his life is on the line. So I'm sorry about your stupid appointment. Maybe you shouldn't have scheduled your appointment when you had a pretrial hearing for someone for a murder charge. Detective claimed he accessed the card and watched part of the videos that were on it, said there was nothing but blue and red flashing lights. This is how we know that Dashcam is still running, because it caught the cop car lights. That's where the officer messed up. He admitted he saw the red and blue flashing lights. So if it was running when the cops were there, it had to have been running before. Where's that footage? Oh, but they lost the SD card. How convenient. Detectives also couldn't explain why they instructed all deputies present to turn off their body cams, even though that goes against policy and procedures. They just really didn't have an explanation other than that's normal. It's not normal at all. Because they're using the body cam where he said bullshit that like we can't take justice into our own hands for cases like this. Using that to say that he had intent to off Fossler, which that's not true. So they're allowed to use that. But then when they reported to the scene of a murder, this PDF file is dead on the side of the road. That body cam footage was all turned off, all of it, and the dash cam. And then they even messed up the dash cam of the car of Michael Fossler. So they can't even see where his daughter was or what happened when Aaron Spencer hit him off the side of the road. Those 43 SA charges, they're saying because they were dismissed because he's deceased. So they're saying that those can't even be brought up. So would they think that this guy, Aaron Spencer, woke up at 1:30 in the morning to go murder an innocent man? Like, that's how they're trying to present this case. This is so wrong. This is so wrong. They're wasting taxpayer dollars on this. And I want everyone to know about jury nullification. You can say not guilty, and they won't tell you that in court. And the judge will give very, very strict instructions to say, you believe he did this, you have to say guilty on this. Like, that's all they're going to tell you. But the jury can decide altogether to not convict because they don't think it's right. In this case, the law, it's not being applied correctly in this case. And I don't think it is. Okay, I am back. So much crazy
This
stuff.
case
Hold on.
is
Where is this
crazy.
thing
42
from?
felony charges.
Okay, so we're going back. Oh, and I'm looking at, because we had the people, the workers here, like Ozzy didn't want to come out because he's still like under whatever drug he was on before. So I was going to show you guys the catio, but he's not out there. So, okay. Anyways, they're almost done. So they're going to leave. I'll lock the door in 1 second, but I want to keep reading this because I'm like still like, what happened? Okay. So a few minutes later, he began photographing Fossler's truck and instructed deputies to turn off their body cameras, another violation of LCSO policy. McCrane body cam at 2:38 a.m. Despite the obvious illuminated dash cam and contrary to McCranie's testimony, McCain testified he was unaware of the dash camera during the entire time he investigated the scene, only learning of it as tow trucks arrived hours later. His testimony about being unaware of it, despite looking directly at it several times, is so incredible it cannot be believed. Yeah, seriously. Further, his direction to stop body cam recordings ensured there is no footage of anyone handling of the dash cam or explanation for his having missed this obviously critical evidence for Spencer's defense. Despite being told about it and looking at it, he left it until the last possible second before leaving. McCain learned even more about the substantial significance the recording would hold to the defense after his interviews that morning, before he says he viewed the SD card. After leaving the scene, McCain interviewed Spencer, who provided details about everything from Fossler's criminal case to details about the events of that morning leading to and including the shooting. McCain also had information that the minor told a deputy she was hurting from being SA'd that night. Oh my God. McCain also knew from the minor's interview that Fossler was looking for a weapon before he exited the truck and had a camera to see the back of his truck to make sure nobody, like my dad, because he was scared of my dad. Wait, what? Sorry, I have to read that again. McCain also knew from the minor's interview that Foster was looking for a weapon before he exited the truck and had a, quote, camera to see the back of his truck to make sure nobody, like my dad, because he was scared of my dad. Oh my God. So, oh my God, they're missing all. So the daughter's saying that while they were in the car, he was looking for a weapon, and the camera was to see the back to make sure that like someone like her dad wasn't going to be coming. Oh my God. And then they lost this. I mean, think about it. Like, of course, this is important evidence. How could they be so stupid to lose camera footage at a murder scene? You're at the scene of a murder, and the one thing that you see that there's a camera, like, yes, that's what you need. You should that should be like protected, like nothing else. That could help the entire case. But that's the one thing they were like, oh, well, I don't know what happened. And then they also decide that any other after the fact footage, like with their body cams, they're like, let's just turn those off. For what reason? We don't know. There should not be trying this case at all. This is so stupid. It gets me so mad that like resources are being wasted like this. And the girl, the minor, is being re-victimized over and over from this stupidity of the DA's office and the LCSO office and everyone. Okay, sorry. She also explained being assaulted that night at his house. Heather Spencer described seeing the chase and believing Foster was going to kill her daughter, and Malachi reiterating those things and relayed the minor's description of what Foster did to her that night and morning, because it was the middle of the night. Obviously, the minor's explanation of the camera's purpose confirmed it was operating that morning and that the second camera faced the rear. McCain understood how cameras function to record the happenings in front of the lens and the sounds in proximity to the camera, and he knew the dash camera had 2 cameras, was on after the shooting, and likely recorded sound. And then they quote the transcript. From his first steps on the scene to the time he manipulated the dash camera in his office after having failed to follow any evidence policy with regards to it, McCain knew plenty about the facts and circumstances that led to the shooting to know the dash camera would have captured the events earlier that morning as Foster intended. Wow. Oh my God. What do you guys think? Can I just check in with y'all? Pay your workers? Yes, I'm like, okay, I'll pay you in 6 months, file a lien. Are you kidding me right now? That's crazy. Thank you so much. Go check DFJ. You can wait. Well, I think he left. Okay. I just want to lock the door though, if he did. But let me just check. I'm going to check the cameras really quick and see. Okay, it looks like he left, so I can go lock it. And now that he's gone, I can tell you guys what happened. Here, you're going to come with me. I'm going to lock it out here so I don't lose you. And Ozzy, you can come out now. Okay, so I had an ADT security guy here. I can't believe I'm telling this story. Maybe I'll wait. Let's just finish reading so we're not super ADHD right now. I'll tell you guys after. Remind me to tell you after if you want to hear it. But we're going to keep reading this because this is mind-blowing. Sorry, Hubs just came home. Okay, bye, Laura. Do you have to go? Thanks for stopping in. Isn't this case crazy? This case is insane. This case is so crazy. I cannot believe that they're going. Don't worry. Don't public. You guys have no idea. I have an Excel sheet of my finances for my home. Like I make sure I mark like it's by month, and all of the ones that are reoccurring, and then like any other miscellaneous one. I mean, because like, dude, crazy stuff that she did. That's mind blowing that she hadn't paid her workers. But yeah, there was someone in my house, Kenny. Crazy. But let's see. Afterwards, remind me to tell you the ADT story because that is insane. We're gonna keep reading this though. But what do you guys think? Are you still here? I know I lost some people. I don't know if someone else is on, but whatever. We're just gonna keep going with it. Okay, here we go. Oh, Laura's still here. She was just saying why she missed a few minutes. Okay, well, Laura, this case is insane. This is crazy, and I don't know why it's going to trial, but we're just going to keep reading this. I can't. You're listening. You're here. Okay, cool. All right, I'm just going to keep going. People can stay or go or whatever, but this is mind blowing to me. I'm glad to be reading it with you guys, the chat, because you guys make me feel less crazy when I'm reading something this crazy. So there's no legitimate debate about the exculpatory value of the dash camera. The 2-lens dash camera was positioned with the front camera facing out the front windshield and the other camera plugged in and positioned facing the inside of the truck and towards its rear. Logically, the camera's video and or audio would have provided evidence of Fossler's custody of and route taken when Spencer's daughter, Fossler's directives to his victim in the truck, Spencer's attempt to get Fossler to stop his truck, Fossler's active fight. It says flight with Spencer's daughter. Does that mean flight or fight? Fossler's active flight with Spencer's daughter, Spencer's successful effort to maneuver Fossler's truck into a driveway, Fossler's aggressive exit, and Spencer's reasonable fear for his daughter and himself, among many other key moments that establish Spencer's defense. The footage would show Spencer's efforts to save his child, as he described to McCain, and Fossler's efforts to escape with the child and to conceal her in the truck. The footage would evidence Fossler's efforts to find a weapon or make it appear he had a weapon before threatening Spencer. It would also show Fossler's transporting the minor to his house prior to the shooting to assault her, and at least the sound of Fossler yelling at Spencer when he exited the vehicle. It certainly would have confirmed that Fossler was threatening. There cannot be any serious debate that the footage would have supported Spencer's defense if it had been properly preserved. Secured, and examined instead of kept off paper until it disappeared. Oh my God. Yeah, there can't be. This is crazy. Here, the footage would completely remove any meritorious contention that Spencer committed an unlawful killing of another. The argument that it might have contained some inculpatory evidence and thus could not have been apparently exculpatory is contrary to common sense and cannot overcome the obvious and overwhelming exculpatory value. The footage definitely, to a certainty, contained exculpatory evidence, whether or not there were also portions that might be considered inculpatory to the state under the convoluted theory it seems to be embracing. And there's a footnote after that. It said, it remains unclear how this evidence could possibly be of an inculpatory value beyond sheer speculation. The state's assertion that the child went with the 67-year-old child sexual abuser without force is not in dispute. There is no evidence indicating Fossler acted in any manner other than aggressive when he exited the vehicle, and there is no dispute about the number of shots Spencer fired. Okay. Wait, where was that? Oh, here. Any reasonable investigator would have secured it immediately to ensure preservation of its his contents. Yes, that's so true. Any reasonable investigator, any even any newly trained investigator would be like, oh, we have video footage of this murder, let's preserve it. Any investigator would immediately realize under the circumstances known at the time that audio and video recording both inside and outside of that vehicle captured evidence of Fossler's sexual assault of the minor on the evening, evidence of his picking her up, maintaining physical control, violating a no-contact order, etc. Any investigator would also immediately realize that it would certainly show Spencer's efforts to stop Fossler fleeing with the minor and directing her physical actions in the truck, attempting to conceal her, and Fossler's conduct in confronting Spencer while the child was held in the truck. None of this is anything but exculpatory. All evidence that without any doubt whatsoever supports Spencer's reasonable belief that Fossler presented the requisite danger justifying Spencer's action throughout the episode. The absurd suggestion that the footage would provide either no exculpatory value or only inculpatory evidence cannot overcome the common sense and logical conclusion that the footage would have provided direct and objective evidence to aid in the establishment of Spencer's defense. Yeah, that's really well said. I like his lawyer. McCain's self-serving statements when it was discovered that he had lost the evidence also cannot overcome logic and common sense. Only when the defense submitted a motion asserting a due process violation in November 2025 did McCain, for the very first time, create a legal document purporting to reflect what he did and what he saw on the Dashcam's SD card back in October of 2025. So over a year later was the first time that this detective or this officer created a legal document about the dash cam. Okay. December 3rd, 2025, states brief in response to defendant's motion for adverse inference jury instruction and hearing on spoliation destruction of evidence, attaching affidavit. Still, the state relies on McCain's self-serving testimony that while, hold on one second. Sorry. That while manipulating the undocumented evidence resulting in its total loss, he viewed footage showing only events after the incident. This is irrelevant to the analysis. Yeah, because remember, he's like, oh, yeah, I only saw the red and blue flashing lights. So that means that, like, you know, it was when the cops were there, right? Like, if you see red and blue flashing lights. And so he's like, yeah, I didn't see anything else. But then the expert said that, like, well, if it had been recording the red and blue flashing lights from the crash, then it would have had all the recording from before the crash. So that's all should be on there. Okay, first, Spencer is not required to show the actual contents of the dash cam. Let me make sure you guys can still all see this. Yeah, you guys are good? Okay. First, Spencer's not required to show the actual contents of the dash cam. That would be impossible now. Instead, he must show that the evidence had apparently exculpatory value before its loss or destruction. At the scene, it was apparent in the first half hour on scene that the dash cam was operating and the cameras directed to capture the events leading to and including the shooting. McCain's post hoc attempt to remedy his misconduct after it was discovered many months later is irrelevant to whether it was objectively apparent the dash camera contained information that would negate Spencer's criminal culpability before McCain undertook to secret it before manipulating it, resulting in its loss. Not only is it entirely unbelievable, but it is this very action by McCain of purportedly removing the data card and placing it in another device and then into his own computer resulted in no one ever seeing that data card again. McCain's actions, in contravention of numerous policies and common sense, destroyed the evidence and cannot also suffice to confirm its lack of exculpatory value. He knew of the exculpatory significance of the dash camera when he, without a witness, notation, photograph, process, or attempt at preservation, manipulated the data instead of preserving it, all the way all other digital evidence pertaining to the events of that night was preserved through technology at the Attorney General's office. Furthermore, McCain's explanation about what he viewed on the SD card is inconsistent with the operation of the dash camera. The camera also did not default to loop function as McCain suggested, and the SD card locks in and cannot be easily dislodged. McCain did not document his review of the footage in any way, anywhere, until December of 2025, 14 months later, only in his affidavit. To be sure, McCain's testimony about the contents of the SD card does not comport with the function of the dashcam. In fact, it is impossible, given the dashcam's software. To be sure, McCain's testimony about the contents of the SD card does not comport with the function of the dashcam. In fact, it is impossible given the dashcam. Yeah, that's true. Software. McCain would not know the contents of the SD card, even if he had looked, because he did not watch all the footage, does not know what was in all folders, and he did not hear the audio. He testified the videos were formatted in 2 to 5 folders with 4 video files in one folder, while the remaining folders had camera information and text documents. The videos were around 15 minutes long, and the 4th slightly longer. Of course, if McCain was truly doing what he would normally do with cameras, he would have saved the data he found on the SD card as evidence, and there would have been no need to transmit it to the AG's office. And there's a footnote here that says the LSCO transmitted the digital evidence collected in the case to the AG's office for examination on October 11th, 2024, and received responsive information from the AG's office within a week. One other item was examined twice and returned to the LCSO by mid-November. So there was other digital evidence, but they just never sent the AG the camera evidence, you know, because, like, why would they do that? According to Brandon Purchase, who examined the camera, the dash camera does not default to the loop function. Instead, The default settings is for it to stop recording when the SD card memory is full. If the loop function was enabled, it would only make sense that the G sensor function would be as well, so videos would be saved and for the storage capacity to be sufficient to store data for review. Purchase explained the dash camera records records audio and video from 2 separate cameras simultaneously while plugged in. The main front-facing camera and the rear swivel camera. Regardless of the type of SD card, each camera is only capable of producing 2 folders, one for the main camera and one for the rear swivel camera. The camera can only record videos in 1, 2, 3, and 5-minute increments. It is not possible to create 15-minute videos, as McCain claimed. Furthermore, the dash camera is designed to ensure the SD card is secure and uses a spring so that it will noticeably pop straight up when unlocked. And then they have a video of Brendan Purchase testing the dash cam. The state does not contest Purchase's testimony. And I will say, because I mean, my car didn't come with a dash cam. I mean, it has like a backup camera, but so I installed my own dash camera, like that, that you plug in, and that SD card is so hard to take. Like, there's no way that's just falling out. Like, you have to really dig in to take it out and to put it back in. So I think they're all sort of like that, and for a reason. Okay. McCain's description of the videos he says he saw is simply not logical, possible, or true, and neither is an explanation that the SD card was in the dash camera yet went missing. His conveniently timed but impossible explanations reveal only after Spencer sought relief from the misconduct have no credibility. And they cite a case. They say it's some sort of case law. McCain's testimony cannot save the state from the obvious exculpatory nature of the dash camera recordings under the circumstances of this case. Both McCain's actions and his deliberate inactions concealing them establish that he did, in fact, know of the exculpatory nature of the footage. And they're not messing around. Like, throughout this whole thing, they've been quoting his transcript. Spencer cannot obtain evidence comparable to the dash camera footage. So we're almost like halfway done with this doc. What are you guys thinking? Where are you all at? Let me check in with the beautiful chat. You guys said, still here, but have you on my TV and phone for chat so I can putter. What is puttering? Does that mean just doing things around the house? Done with work. Woohoo. Yay, Trish. Have to feed the family soon. Yeah, I get it. We're getting into like that time. I wish I could have gone on earlier. I was trying to go on after like everything was supposed to be done here, but that didn't happen. So I'm just going to keep going. Everyone, you can, we're going into Memorial Day weekend, and this just dropped. Like, I did not know that we were going to have this, but this is so crazy to me. Yay. Now you can engage, Tris. Yay. A woman's work is never done, says Laura. Oh, I love you, Laura. Yeah. And then it says, I can see and hear the TV better, but typing is a pain in the ass. I know. I have my little like iPad here to try to follow the chat, but it just is so... This is like the iPad mini, which made no sense. I don't even think it should have been invented. It's basically like the same as the iPhone, but slower. It says, duh, was he supposed to be effing friendly and nice as Kenny? Yeah, I know. Like, he's like, oh, my daughter was just like, kidnapped by the guy with this restraining order. Like, what was he supposed to behave like? It says most fathers would react the same as Spencer, 1,000%. Aaron seemed to have one of them police officers like Afro Man had, the kind that steals your money and your lemon pound cake and chases women through the woods. I know. I want to, I think Aaron Spencer, well, he's running for office, so he probably doesn't want to. He might be their bosses soon, so he probably can't make, diss tracks about them. But McCain and, McCain and McCranie? Oh, my God. They really seem like Dumb and Dumber or like TweedleDee and TweedleDum. This mama would have done the same and have zero regrets. 1,000%. Me too, without blinking. Yep, exactly. And then Christina said, today was the first day I had to mute a segment of a show. It was a mother who lost her child. It was a story about the girl who drove her car into a wall, killing the passengers. I can take a lot. Yeah, the Mackenzie case. Yeah. I don't like, I guess because she was sentenced, that's why, like, and there was the Netflix special is why it's coming back. I'm like, that's so old. Like, that case, what happened, I feel like I watched all that footage a long time ago, and I've always thought the mom and the daughter were completely psychotic, and that what she did was deliberate, and I hope that, like, we never see any of them again. they could get lost for all I care. They don't seem remorseful. So yeah, it's a whole different case. That was your limit, those poor parents. I know. So, oh, Laura had to let you know when it was over. I'm so sorry. And then this says, so glad that this man is not having to mourn his child because the police were crappy. And that's the thing. He could have saved her life. Because the one thing that I think people don't really remember is that, like, his daughter was the sole witness who could put this child predator away for the rest of his life. He had just gotten 43 SA charges related to this. And his trial was going to be coming up. And then all they need is her testimony. And they probably got a lot of evidence, off his phones and stuff, but still, like her testimony alone, I mean, he was done for. And so he could have killed, he had nothing to lose. He was going away for the rest of his life anyways. What difference does it make if he offed her? It's so scary. So like, I honestly, seeing this, a lot of true crime stuff, I really think Spencer saved her life. 1,000%. And then this is the first time we've heard that, like, she said that she felt sore and pain after he had S8'd her that night. I think like his team is so smart. Pam says yes, and we have even worse nightmares that he already does because of what happened. Yeah, they are corrupt, says Laurie. I agree. Kenny said, I'm still here. Oh, thank you, Kenny. Well, this is all I'll say is, like, I think his team is really smart because we are hearing things in this filing. Yes, they've argued this before, but they're dropping even like more details that the public, wasn't aware about before. They basically had to walk on eggshells with that former judge. And I think now it's getting closer to trial, and they're like, look, this is all going to come out, so we're going to start putting it out, because they're putting things out there that are shocking to me. They are appealing it again. Oh, Mackenzie won it. Oh, are you serious? God. Well, I can't stand them. She can rot in prison for all I care. I agree, DFJ. The man didn't take that young girl in the middle of the night with good intentions. Not at all. Why would you exactly in the middle of the night? And putter. Old lady house chores. Oh, okay. Well, I have to putter also later. So enjoy puttering, Pam. Okay, we're going to just keep going then. Yeah? You guys want to finish reading it? We're going to finish reading it. Spencer cannot obtain evidence comparable to the dashcam footage. The state has not argued that Spencer can obtain comparable evidence, and it cannot reasonably be argued that evidence comparable to video and audio capturing the incident could exist. There's no other way to demonstrate in real time what Spencer witnessed and experienced. Spencer cannot be compelled to testify, so his own testimony cannot satisfy this comparable evidence factor. More importantly, the footage is not only objective evidence of the encounter. Witness testimony cannot ever carry the credibility that comes with the jury seeing and or hearing for themselves. Then they cite United States versus Webb. Case law, case law, case law. Alternatively, the dash cam was potentially exculpatory and law enforcement acted in bad faith. Even if the court questions the exculpatory value of the evidence, it was without doubt potentially useful, and bad faith in its destruction is apparent and justifies dismissal of this case. Yes, yes. Oh, look, I learned that StreamYard has something in the widgets, or maybe media assets. They have a noise. Look, wait. The claps. Oh, I lost it already. Why had saved? Oh, here, applause. I want to give applause because that's so true. Okay. Bad faith is evident by misconduct, dishonesty, and efforts to conceal the evidence, its exculpatory value, and its destruction. Bad faith is evidence when the police themselves, by their conduct, indicate that the evidence could form a basis for exonerating the defendant. Bad faith can be shown by proof of an official animus or a conscious effort to suppress exculpatory evidence. Unintentional or negligent omissions with no record of misconduct or animus do not constitute bad faith. Okay, so this case law, efforts to conceal the existence of exculpatory information, its contents, or its destruction evidence. Bad faith, failing to adhere to rules and professional obligations, likewise evidence bad faith. More case law, more case law, more case law, more case law, more case law. This is all case law. Sorry, I'm just skipping ahead. LCSO officials, and particularly McCain, blatantly violated numerous policies regarding the collection, documenting, photographing, reviewing, analyzing, and preserving of evidence. A bunch of transcript without documenting its existence, his actions, or its characteristics at the scene of a potentially justified murder investigation. Officers saw and McCain removed a dash camera mounted to the windshield of a truck where many of the significant events occurred while it was operating. Yet every officer on scene intentionally turned off their body-worn camera before anybody touched the dash camera. Unlike Lewis and Clark's, this was not a mere error in judgment or a misunderstanding of policy. This was blatant defiance of substantially all evidence handling policies and reasonable law enforcement obligations in order to control and suppress evidence they knew could have exonerated Spencer. Unlike Clark's, there is ample record of misconduct, not mere negligence, and this is precisely a case in which the police, by their conduct, indicate that the evidence could form a basis for exonerating the defendant. Deputy McCranie's body-worn camera footage shows him looking inside Fossler's truck. Do I still have sound? Okay, cool. I think so. I don't see any warnings in the chat. Okay. Deputy McCranie's body-worn camera footage shows him looking inside Fossler's truck where the dash camera's illuminated screen is seen clearly. Both McCain and McCranie testified they saw the dash camera inside Fossler's truck but did not document its existence in any evidence log, take any photographs of it, note its discovery, characteristics, or content in an incident report, or enter it into evidence in the case. These actions all serve to conceal the dash camera's existence, its contents, and its destruction. McCain admitted that he collected the dash camera, but he failed to document it, failed to log it into evidence, and failed to document his handling of it. He stored the camera in his office in violation of evidence policies for tracking and storing evidence. McCain purportedly watched portions of the footage alone in his office later the same morning without making any notation about doing so or about its supported contents. McCain testified that he placed the SD card back into the dash camera, placed the camera in a manila envelope, and placed the envelope in his office cabinet, not in evidence. Yeah, that's weird. Why was he putting in his own office cabinet and not in the evidence storage? Moreover, contrary to policy and routine practice, he did not mark the envelope to denote his accessing it and did not photograph the SD card or the dash camera itself. The dash camera then sat in McCain's office for over a month without any record of its existence. On November 14th, 2024, LCSO Sergeant Carla Lucas took the dash camera to the AG's office at McCain's request. While McCain testified he asked the AG's office to prioritize examination of the dash camera, he claimed the AG's office did not look at it until July of 2025, 8 months later. Despite him, quote, checking on the progress, AG examination of other items took far less, and the AG had no other related items at the time. That is simply incredible. The AG's office at some point reported the dash camera did not have an SD card when it arrived, although McCain did not document this communication. McCain's superior was not aware of the lost SD card for many months. There is still no report documenting any of these events. That's crazy, you guys. Defense counsel only first learned of the dash camera's existence on July 3rd, 2025, through the deputy prosecutor who said officers had been searching for the SD card for months. And then they quote an email. That is certainly inconsistent with McCain's testimony that he had only learned the SD card was missing in July of 2025. When the dash camera was finally logged into evidence on October 16th, 2025, over a year after its discovery, the log was made to look as though the dash camera was sent to the AG's office on October 14th, 2024, consistent with the other digital evidence gathered early on October 8th, 2024, when it was really held in by McCain until November 14th, 2024. Entries to evidence system to be near contemporaneous with movement of evidence. Okay. It was only entered into evidence in October of 2025 because it was returned from AG's office with items from Fossler's residence that LCSO sent to the AG's office in July of 2025. Despite clear and unambiguous evidence, policies demanding it, he still, even at that point, did not document its return, that the SD card was missing, or his manipulation of it before the AG received it. Mistakes are one thing, but behaving as though the evidence never existed for nearly a year, only then to disclose that it no longer exists, omitting documentation and protocol dozens of times in between, is deliberate. Oh my God, wait, where's that sound thing? I agree. Okay. Even more, McCain and his superiors attempted to justify McCain's manipulation of digital evidence, suggesting that it was accepted practice for McCain to examine this type of digital evidence himself. Common sense and reality indicate that this attempt at a post hoc justification of McCain's actions was misleading. First, the fact that McCain sent the dash camera to the AG's office refutes any claim that it was customary for him to collect that type of evidence himself. Can you guys still hear me? I just want to make sure I have sound. I don't see any warnings. Okay. Okay. If McCain was truly doing what he normally would do with cameras, he would have saved the data he found on the SD card as evidence, and there would have been no need for the AG's involvement. His manipulation of it without proper protocol and documentation before sending it for forensic examination would defeat the purpose of the forensic examination and interfere with the proper chain of custody. Furthermore, records obtained after the pretrial hearing show that testimony by McCain and his superiors on this point is inconsistent with their actual practices. They testified it is not uncommon for McCain to examine evidence on cameras, and most comparably game cameras, instead of relying on the AG's examination. McCain admitted he is unfamiliar with dash cams and has never seized a dash cam. What? He acknowledged removing the SD card from a device he is not familiar with risks destroying the data. And then they quote his testimony where it says he hit a wrong button and you format the whole SD card. As it turns out, the LSCO does not routinely take hunting game cameras or SD cards into evidence, so McCain could not routinely view and obtain evidence from them. From 2021 through 2025, LCSO has taken no game cameras and only one SD card from a game or regular camera into evidence in the last 5 years. And then they quote a FOIA response. So they filed a Freedom of Information Act to get that data. That's pretty funny. Even if McCain viewed the one SD card from a game camera on his own 2 years prior into breaking or entering investigation, that is hardly a policy or practice for doing so with an undocumented dash camera that captured an alleged homicide. It certainly does not make McCain's decision to secretly manipulate this evidence reasonable, excusable, or unintentional. This is another effort to mislead and conceal the truth about this evidence, its contents, and its destruction in order to prevent Spencer from having the benefit of it for his defense. There's a footnote. If there is any doubt, it is dispelled by the fact that neither of McCain's supervisors made any attempt whatsoever to document or remedy McCain's policy violations or otherwise document any of the events involving the dashcam, even when they learned that he viewed it and later learned it was lost or destroyed. Neither McCain nor his supervisors made any notion in a report or other case document. Yeah. I can't even believe that we're still here, to be honest. Let me check in with you guys. We're on page 16, so there's only like 5 pages left if I can do math. How are you guys doing? Okay, please read. Nobody steals someone's child at any point in the day or night with good intentions. Well, that's true. Good point, Kenny. That is so cute that you didn't know what puttering is. Now you know. You are on the younger side. I am? Well, I love that. I don't know if that's true, but I appreciate it. Oh, Dana just discovered these as well. Jail for McCain. I agree, Kenny. These officers, I so bad. What was he doing? Seriously. Okay, yeah, you guys can hear me. All right, those are good messages to read instead of like you're having my mic off, which I'm like, I did get the connector for the second screen. It just isn't working with the Mac and the LG screen. It like freezes up almost every time. So Memorial Day, we'll have to see if I can find a second solution. Maybe the Apple needs to be connected to an Apple for a second screen. I don't know. Your phone is making me stay 10 seconds behind. If I try to go live, it ends up 10 seconds behind again. YouTube sucks sometimes. Yeah, it does. Hello, beautiful host and chat. I missed you all, so I'm popping in. LOL. Hello, AC. It's been forever. How are you? Veg says, I just got back. I broke my son's Lego thing and got a tongue lashing from a 12-year-old autistic boy. Well, what did you get it? Make it things right? I hope so. Hello at the beach. How are you? Okay, we're going to keep going reading this document because this is absolutely insane to me. I'm a little nervous that I haven't seen Ozzy at all, but he was scared of the workers here earlier, so I guess it is what it is. Okay. If it's a Mac, is it a Mac laptop connected to the screen? Yeah, it was a MacBook Pro. I had an LG monitor that I had so I could have two screens. It's easier to see the chat and everything. But like both connectors I had to connect them, like the computer starts freaking out after a short time, and I had to like reboot it and it froze and whatever. Okay, so we're gonna just keep going. It's 9:30 a.m. Where are you, AC? We're going to keep going. This is wild to me. And also, you guys remember Sarah from Yarn and Order? We did that dual stream together, or she was a guest on my stream, about this case. And she does a lot of jury research, and she sees so many cases, and she says that's one of her things. She can almost always give like the devil's advocate. She can almost always see the other side, and she can almost, always try to see like why a case is being brought or see whatever. This case, she cannot. She honestly said that she cannot even understand why the DEA's office is bringing this case. It is so insane. Oh, I will hit you up later for help, Vig, because I've seen your setup. It is amazing. I want it. It's amazing. But there's no one, I feel, that can sit and listen to what happened in this case. Even we haven't seen the dash cam. Even without us seeing it, this case is insane, right? So, but if they had that, just imagine how much more powerful that would be to Aaron Spencer's defense, right? Okay, we're going to get back. Hold on one more second. I'm sorry, guys. I promise. I'm just going to check. Ozzy's on like a lot of meds. He was drugged up. So once. Okay, we're back. Yeah, so he actually is in his catio. He's just hiding in that box in it. That's why we can't see him. So, yeah, because he was at the dentist and the meds are wearing off. But he is missing 2 teeth. They were not extracted. But other than that, they got a clean bill of health. So that's really good news. All right, here we go. McCain testified that he saw video formats on the SD card. Can you guys hear me? Okay. He said, not leaving. I'm currently buttoning up our Disneyland trip while listening. Okay, awesome. We're just going to keep going. McCain testified that he saw video formats on the SD card that are simply impossible. For over a year, he consistently violated nearly every LCSO evidence policy and basic police investigation procedure, and his superiors did nothing to correct him or ensure compliance once they were made aware. The multiple flagrant policy violations, which served to conceal the existence of the camera for over 9 months and continue to serve to conceal the circumstances of the dash camera's discovery, content, and loss, are enough to demonstrate bad faith. McCain even acknowledged knowing those policies and their purpose to protect the integrity of the evidence, yet he is unable to provide any legitimate explanation for violating nearly all of them. McCain's inability to provide any explanation for this or for the loss of this evidence, along with his false or misleading testimony about the contents of the SD card and his practice of handling this type of evidence himself, support bad faith. McCain's conduct and testimony show an intentional effort to conceal the evidence, its destruction, and its exculpatory value to deprive Spencer of it. There is a footnote here. It says oh yeah, we read that one. Okay. The state cannot rely on policy, mistake, or lack of knowledge like the officers in Lewis and Clark's. McCain is a detective and was responsible for this investigation, including the evidence at the scene, yet neither he nor the state have offered any reasonable explanation for the multitude of successive instances of misconduct related to the dash camera. There is no evidence to support mere negligence or carelessness here. That might explain a failure to strictly adhere to a policy or two, but it cannot excuse violations of policy from the first moment the dash camera was discovered through the entire year that followed. That failure to put the evidence in the evidence tracking system for a year is intentional. It is noticeable that the most significant piece of evidence was not listed at all. Failing to note the seizure of the dash camera, review of it, and loss of it for a week might be a mistake, but for a year or more, and then entering and showing transferred out shortly after the shooting and no mention anywhere of its manipulation or loss is intentional concealment of wrongdoing. Testifying that it had no evidentiary value despite the impossibility of seeing such data and excusing the tampering by falsely suggesting it was routine are intentional and bad faith. If LCSO officials' conduct in this case does not demonstrate bad faith, then it is essentially impossible for a defendant to make a sufficient showing of bad faith short of an officer saying, quote, I am going to violate this defendant's due process rights, unquote. This cannot be due process. Holy S. They're not playing, they're not holding back. So good. We're going to keep going. If the court declines to dismiss the charges based on due process violations, a spoliation or missing evidence instruction is warranted. The Arkansas, can you guys still hear me? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. The Arkansas Supreme Court has not foreclosed the possibility of a spoliation instruction in a criminal case. Thus far, Arkansas's jurisprudence on this issue is addressed in Court of Appeals decisions explaining why proffered instructions are not accurate statements of law. See Long versus State, 2024, Arkansas. Okay. There is not a model spoliation instruction in the Arkansas model jury instructions criminal, but the court may give a non-model instruction when it finds that the model instructions do not contain a needed instruction on the subject. A party is entitled to a jury instruction when it is a correct statement of the law and when there is some basis in the evidence to support giving the instruction. In Autry versus State, the Court of Appeals said a spoliation instruction is designed to remedy litigation misconduct. Giving it would mean the state behaved improperly, and it would depend on whether the state was obligated to preserve the evidence or acted in bad faith. However, in Long versus State, the court explained that the proffered spoliation instruction in Autry, like that proffered in Long, failed to require a jury finding of bad faith to justify application of an adverse inference. There's a really long footnote here. I don't think we need to read this, but it's just more case law, really long. Significantly, a long court compliant instruction would permit but not require the jury to find a due process violation. Giving it would not mean the state behaved improperly, but would allow the jury to consider whether it did so. Thus, Spencer argues, if there is evidence from which a jury could find the evidence apparently exculpatory and without a comparable replacement, or potentially exculpatory but lost or destroyed in bad faith, the instruction should be given. Here, there is evidence of both apparently exculpatory value and bad faith, such that the jury should be instructed. The numerous violations of policy and common sense, the concealment, and the great prejudice caused to Spencer by the loss or destruction of this crucial evidence demands at least the potential for remedy. The actions by LCSO, as outlined herein, constitute misconduct and clearly improper behavior and evidence a lengthy pattern of it. Basic negligence or recklessness cannot explain the magnitude of the repeated policy violations and intentional manipulations, omissions, and efforts to ensure this evidence is not available at trial. Courts have been willing to depart from the strict bad faith requirement when the remedy is a missing evidence instruction rather than dismissal of charges, and was at issue in Youngblood. See Cost versus State. Okay. Strictly employing the Youngblood test requires sanctions at times, even when there's no prejudice, but also limits relief where even negligent or reckless loss of evidence may critically prejudice a defendant. It also has the effect of encouraging destruction of evidence that then renders it only potentially useful since its contents are unprovable. This leaves no remedy for defendants who are unable to prove bad faith, but suffer the loss or destruction of evidence that is so critical to the defense as to make the trial fundamentally unfair. Spencer has attached 2 proposed spoliation instructions. The first instructs the jury on the Trombetta and Youngblood standards as discussed in Autry and Long. Proffered instructions. This instruction represents the most stringent standard possible for the jury to impose an adverse inference. It requires findings of apparent exculpatory value or bad faith. Spencer also proffers a second proposed spoliation instruction representing a compilation of the instructions employed by other states. Example 16, second proffered instruction. Spencer asserts that when the Arkansas Supreme Court ultimately decides this issue, it should consider fashioning an evidentiary instruction under state law that does not impose the Youngblood standard when the loss of evidence is intentional and avoidable and or contrary to the duties or responsibilities of the party who caused the loss and the evidence is material and or exculpatory. I have no idea what that just meant, any of that, like right there. I'm sorry, but that's just like too much for a Friday. At this stage, Spencer asks for either instruction with any variation as bracketed in the proffered instructions, holding to the strictest interpretation of the Arkansas Court of Appeals case. This court would give the instruction in Exhibit 15. Wherefore, the defendant, Aaron Spencer, asked the court to grant him relief as requested herein, and for any other relief the court finds appropriate. And then it was respectfully submitted, Aaron Casanelli. You know, cheers to her. She's literally worth every cent that they've paid her, in my opinion, because she works so hard. This was very well written, in my opinion. I think this hits home. I don't know. I can't explain to you how this has gone as far as it has gone. I don't think any of those jury instructions are necessary. In my opinion, I think this case should be dismissed. These officers behaved so inappropriately. They knew it was a homicide. Like, they knew it was a murder. What were we doing? Like they're just like, hello, whodunit? How are you? Kenny says, not sure I've said hello to you before. Nice to meet you. If I have and don't remember, my apologies. Kenny, you're so nice. You're so welcoming to everyone. That's so sweet. So what else did y'all say? We are excited. Okay. So it says, do these officers still have their badges? Says at the beach. Yes. Can you believe that? Which is why Aaron Spencer is running for sheriff. Like, this is insane to me, honestly. Laura says, I'll be honest, as a mother of 2 autistic kids who dared to go to Disney, make sure you get the passes that let you get to the head of the line. Yeah, seriously. The worst officer, says Lori Jane. And Lori Jane, I'm so curious, like, if your cousin has heard anything else, because I have like one anonymous source who kind of like messages me things, who's been to every single hearing so far in this case, who's followed it from the beginning, and they give me really great tips. But it's been a little bit quiet lately. So, but if you hear any rumblings or anything, let me know. Laura, it is so hard to get a DAS now. So many people abuse it. Oh, that's so annoying. I need to apply. You know who else recently didn't, like, Lively just go to Disney World or something? Yeah, so they're all talking about Disney. She is a great lawyer. Amazing. I like her. It should be dismissed, right? I think it should be, this case needs to be dismissed. Are you kidding me? It says at the beach. What happened? But yeah, this needs to be dismissed for sure. Poor Aaron Spencer. And you know, the last judge, she didn't dismiss this, but I think this new judge, I think just reading this, he should. because I don't really know how you get around that. There's literally footage of what happened and it's gone. And then the police were told to turn their body cameras off. I don't, if there's not a case for self-defense, if there's any case for self-defense, I think someone kidnapping your minor child and that said person has a restraining order, not just against, not, that person is not just, the restraining order is not just for the child, it's for any minors. That's how dangerous they are. 43 SA charges related to her case. And he kidnaps her in the middle of the night. If there is any justifiable defense to off someone, I would say that that's it. So, and the fact that the DA's office, the same DA's office who charged Fossler, who knows how dangerous he is, I'm just like, what if it was their own child missing in the middle of the night with this man? What would they do? I definitely wouldn't want to rely on McCain and McCranie, aka TweedleDee and TweedleDummy, to be the ones to like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna sit at home while my kid's missing. Go find my kid. I hope she's okay by the time you get to her. What? This is insane. So what are you gonna do? At the beach, you have to tell me what we're kidding about, because I think I saw that late. StreamYard is always on delay. My cousin talked to her friend. He told her it's crazy in Lonoke County right now, a lot of drama. I bet. My biggest question, says Vegas, why did they say to turn off the body cams? They had to have the heads up that there was a reason to do so. I don't know. That is really weird. Maybe they did something wrong. Maybe they saw something. I know that is really weird. I would do a FOIA request for all of their past body cams. Is that something they normally do every time they go to a scene? I have a lot of questions. Pam says, hopefully it gets dismissed. What a waste of time and judicial resources. At the beach says, how can those cops still have jobs after what they did? I know. Seriously. It's insane. And the fact that this DA's office is doing this to this man and his family, and that's the one thing that it makes me even more sick, is that like his daughter is the victim here. Okay. And actually his family is the victim, as Spencer's family is a victim as well. I honestly think that parents who have kids who go through like some sort of like SA, like any sort of abuse, I feel like the parents go through their own PTSD, because like it is their most primal instinct to want to protect their child. And when you cannot do that and something happens to your kid, I think it changes you, you know? And so I just, that they're doing this to the daughter and to the family, it's disgusting to me. They should be in jail. Says at the beach, I know, shouldn't they? Big says yes, and their radio traffic. I know, exactly. I want to FOIA all of it. I actually remember, I think it was Tiffany. I don't know if she's here. Sometimes she hangs out, even if we don't see her in the chat. But Tiffany, I think, was the one who was like, I want to look into doing FOIA requests there. So I kind of was going to see if she ever did anything with that. Because when I first looked into it, it looked really hard. Like, really, like, I feel like this isn't going to be one of the ones where I can just do it online. So, but I should maybe look at that again. I'm sure his lawyers are on it. Like I said, they obviously did some to get records for any time an SD card was handled. Like that's kind of a genius of them. So I really wonder, I'm sure they have more. I feel like he has a very, very, very smart team. And if I was a judge reading this, I'd be like, yeah, what the hell? Why are we even here? So will he dismiss it? I don't know. But he's going to have to do it soon, because let's go back to the docket real quick, which is in the description if you want to look up any of these things. But the last event that they had was April 30th. And so if the trial is going to be, it's going to be June 20th, there's not a lot of time. So I hope they make that ruling soon. Okay, who wants to do a bet here? Is this case going to be dismissed before we hear back from Judge Lyman on 47.1? What do you guys think? Anyways, let's see. Oh, okay, so I don't see Ozzy. Ozzy? Yeah, he's out of it. He's not in the catio, so I don't know where he is. I was going to show you that screen, but he's not there, so there's no point. So let me just go back to these slides. I can close this now. I had so many things open. Okay. Yeah, so tomorrow, the Defense Diaries, they're doing a fundraising stream. It's all day, 10 a.m. Central to 10 p.m. They're going to have all these people on, and they'll be talking about this case. And so, you know, and I think they're raising money because it's not, he's had to pay a lot of money. It's not cheap, you know, to keep having to file these things and do everything as lawyers have been doing. And then Sunday, I'm going to be doing True Crime with CJ from Celebrity Dockets. It's going to be sometime Sunday, I think early evening. And then this was just something I wanted to share with you guys. I've never seen such an accurate cartoon in my life. It says, this is how I feel like with Ozzy. So this is like adopting a dog, and see that like a little person, see the little paws. They're going into like the adoption center. They see the dog. And then now they're filling out the papers with the dog, and then they go home with the dog. Like that's how you usually like adopt a dog. And it says adopting a cat. She's just sitting minding her own business, and then a cat falls through the ceiling. And that's your cat. And that's how I felt like it happened with Ozzy. Like it was not something I went out and saw it, and he's here. And but we're actually with any cat, because even some that I had not intended on keeping, I've ended up either fostering, or like the other one I have, this other senior cat I have. I mean, I adopted her on my lunch break when I was at a job that I hated. And then I had but when you want to take them from the SVC, when you want to adopt from the SCPA, you can't just be like, okay, I'll come back later after work. You have to, it's right then. They don't put animals on hold, basically. So they're like, well, if you want her, you have to like take her with you now. I was like, oh, okay. So, yeah, I went to work with her. I was like, yeah, I got to go home. I just adopted this cat. So it is what it is. And then one more thing, if there's like, you want to just try to make a difference and for a really good cause right now, it's in the description. I would just call this number and you ask to be transferred to you just tell them what state you are, ask to be transferred to the senators for that state. And then it's usually a voice recording, or it's going to be like a really nice college students, one or the other. That no one's going to answer if you do it this weekend. So you can call and leave a message and tell the senator to vote no on the Farm Bill with the SOB Act language that reverses animal welfare laws, such as bans on gestation crates. The Save Our Bacon Act SOB would reverse 500 state and local laws, which is insane. And I have everything linked in the chat. And a quick thank you to Laura, Khaleesi, and Christina. Look, I made the mods of fame. I made a different graphic this time. So it says, who knows how long Lyman takes? I know. He takes forever. He just drags things out, especially if it's Wayfair. He's like, no rush. The cat distribution system. That's exactly what it's called. You need the HVAC story. Oh, no. Okay. You guys want to hear this really quick? I know we're over 2 hours. Okay, I'll tell it really quick. It's not the HVAC story. It was the ADT story. Well, the HVAC, yeah, that happened. The ADT. Okay, you guys. So ADT was here to install a heat alarm for the solar batteries. And when the agent was here, he comes in, and we needed this because the city inspection was yesterday. So we had to have it done before yesterday. So he comes and he puts down the battery, and then he's like, I need to use your restroom. I was like, okay. So then he goes into the guest restroom, and then he's making the loudest sounds ever. He's like really loud for almost like 20 minutes. And it turns out he comes out, he's like, oh, sorry. He's like, and everyone's waiting. Like all the solar battery installer people are waiting because they need to connect to this alarm. So we're all waiting for him. And he's like having like an exorcism in the bathroom. And then he comes out, he's like, sorry. And he's like, yeah, I think I threw up. I'm like not feeling well. I was like, well, I don't want to get sick. And he's like, well, it's probably just the flu. It's probably not contagious. I was like, probably just the flu. First of all, that is contagious. Second of all, you just left a biohazard in my bathroom. Like, are you going to do anything? He's like, I got to go. And so then he just leaves. And then I was like, can you have someone call me to like reschedule an appointment? He's like, sure. No one calls me. And so I am on the phone with ADT trying to get a hold of an agent for over an hour. So like while I'm waiting, because I was like, well, first of all, I need someone to like come and install this alarm, which we found out was the wrong alarm anyways. Yeah, the flu contagious or crap. I'm just like, I thought maybe he was having an exorcism or Ebola or something. Like he just like literally just like came in walking in here and then went right to the bathroom. It was like it was so loud for like 20 minutes. And I didn't even know like if he was throwing up or doing something else, but he said it was throwing up. It's just the flu. Yeah, not contagious at all. And also I've had the flu and I never was like in the bathroom, like acting like, I mean, he was like yelling, like he was so loud. I was on the phone with someone and they were like, what is happening? I was telling them, they're like, oh my God, you have to do something. I was like, well, what am I going to do? I have to wait till they come out. And, you know, I tried to give some grace, like, okay, I figured like he should go. And I was like, just can you have someone call me because we need to make sure to get this done. And I was like, you know, maybe I should feel like honored that he felt comfortable enough to use my bathroom to do this. But no one called. The fact that no one called me is that's what set me over the edge, because I was like, if I did that and someone else, especially a customer or a client, I would be like, oh, I'd be so embarrassed, and I'd be like, oh my God, can I pay to like send a cleaner to come or something? No, nothing. So then what do I do? Because I'm so annoyed, and I'm getting on hold. And they're like, oh, well, we don't know if we have anyone who can come. It's Memorial Day weekend's coming up. I was like, I don't care. I have the city inspector coming. Like at that point, it was like within a day, and I was like, so this needs to be done. And so then, and they actually never even couldn't even do it because they ended up buying the wrong alarm, whatever. So, but it all worked out. But anyway, so then, but I find the email addresses of all of corporate, like the president, the vice president, like the media, I find their media contact, everyone, because I'm on hold for so long. So during this, I literally say, like, I said, ADT, please send someone to clean up the biohazard your agent just left in my bathroom. That was like the subject line. And then I put, and then in the email, I was like, letting them know, it's like, I'm literally emailing this to you while I'm on hold. You guys need to have someone call me. And it was funny because this is the security company. I feel so less safe now knowing how stupid this company is, because I was like, they're like, we're a security company. This is the person on the phone. We're the security company. We're not a cleaning agency. So we don't really do that, but like, you can maybe file like a damages claim. I was like, what? Like I was she put her hazmat suit on and bleached the heck of it. I was like, what the heck? And I want to know, like, was my reaction like not okay? Like, and so no one called me from ADT. And so then, and I realized this customer service person isn't going to be able to do crap. So then I email them again, and then I add even more. And then I start adding like their investor. I find out who invests in ADT, who's on the board. And then I add them onto this email. So there's like 20 people on this email from ADT. And the subject line is, please have someone deal with this biohazard your agent left in my bathroom. And so finally I get a call, and they're like, oh yeah, we got a message that something happened. And they're like, you know, we talked to the agent. He said that he cleaned it up. I was like, I don't care. He was throwing up in the bath, in the toilet and the sink. It was 20 minutes. I'm not going in there. And she's like, can you take a picture and send it? I was like, no, ma'am. He admitted what happened. You guys need to do something. So the only thing that they were willing to do was to credit 2 months of service, and in exchange so that I could hire someone to clean up, because they said filing a damages thing goes through insurance and it takes forever. And I was like already obviously pissed off, and I was going to keep emailing corporate about the biohazard left in my bathroom. So I don't know if you guys think that I handled that appropriately or not. You know, you're still on. Cool. I'm free from work. Well, I'm going, but I was just telling this one story. They messed with the wrong one, right? Yeah, so did I take a picture? I know, take a picture, right? I was like, well, you want a picture of this vomit? I was like, I'm not going in there. I'm not putting my phone in there. And so I did was able to get someone to come out, and they like sanitized it and cleaned it. And so, I mean, whatever. And only 2 months of service. It was only like $120 or something. And plus they didn't even, that same guy didn't even give me the right alarm. The fact that the supervisor never even called me to follow up to be like, I'm sorry with that, you had that experience, ma'am. Can we make sure to we'll put a rush on the order for the correct alarm, because we realized we ordered you the wrong one, and get someone out there as soon as possible. No, none of that. I had to literally hound the corporate people, letting them know that I felt less safe with ADT, because I feel like I'm going to get Ebola or whatever the hell was happening with this guy. So anyway, that's how I handled it. Maybe it's not the best way to handle it. No, you can get sick at my house. She will call your Mrs. London, your first grade teacher. Yeah. No, I'm okay with people getting sick in my house, but just the way that it was handled, that no follow up. So it was that was the problem. I mean, I do feel a little, but also that was also not normal, whatever was happening in there. And we all thought, we were all sitting there like it was crazy. What the fuck, a picture? I know. I was like, and they're like, if you want more than 2 months, she's like, I can't credit you more than 2 months, but unless you send a picture and what was it, like a document or receipt from the company that cleans it, which by the way, that is not how where I live. We have the people that we all pay in cash for our people who clean, and so there's not gonna be no receipt. Like I literally just like texted Maria and she got someone here, but like so that's how it works around here. So I'm not gonna get compensated from them for everything, but whatever. It is the guy running around with monkeypox or whatever he has. Maybe he should not go to work. I know. And also like that, the whole thing was so crazy to me. I thought he was being dramatic by doing that, but looking back, I'm so glad he is meticulous about stuff like that. He was right. Who? I miss what you said. Oh, Gloria said, I used to work at a company, property maintenance. We never asked for people to take a picture of the disgusting issue. We took their word at it, sent out a tech and got it taken care of. Yeah. Then we sent out the company to do a biohazard cleanup. We did not leave that on the business employee to send us a picture. We didn't want to see that. Yeah, that is crazy. Oh, it says my hubby Ubers, and one night there was a drunk person who threw up in the car. He called Uber and said it was a biohazard. Uber reimbursed him for the cleaning and charged the rider $200. See, that's more. ADT only gave me $120 because it's 2 months of service. See, I'm still, I might have to send a follow-up email, but like also should I just let it go? I have way too many fires to put out right now, but still hentavirus. I know. I was like, what the hell is it? It's just insane that they were telling you to go in there, telling you to take a picture of it, telling you to get near it. I still haven't even gone in there. That's how like freaked out I was. Like what I heard was not normal. And like the exorcism, like when she throws up during the exorcism, that's what it sounded like was going on there. It was crazy stuff. And then also he admitted that like it happened. So, but she's like, well, he said he cleaned up. Well, what you think he cleaned up? I don't have any sanitizing product. I have hand soap in there. I don't have Clorox bleach in there. I don't have like all the things that we're going to need to get rid of whatever the hell was going on there. Plus he walked through my house. So then I was like spraying Lysol like all over my house. It's just a mess. Everything is a mess, but whatever. It's not the worst problem to have. But I do think, thank you, Trish, for pointing that out about Uber. I feel like I'm going to maybe send one follow-up email to them requesting something because I think it's crazy what they did. And they needed to have a better policy if that ever happens to anyone else. That's insane. Yeah, so we're going to go on. Oh, what we're going to close with, this is what we're closing with, is it's not one of my videos, not one of my songs. It's actually I thought it was a really cute clip. This guy, he went to his city council because he wants them to fill the potholes in his street. And he did a performative public comment, and I thought it was really cute and it was really fun. So we're going to go out on that. Thank you again, Laura, Khaleesi, Christina. I love you, girls. Thank you all for being here. Thank you to the chat. Have a great Memorial Day weekend. I'll maybe see some of you on Sunday for the True Crime with CJ. And we're going out with this little funny clip.
This is Officer Jack. Suspect spotted.
Uh-oh.
This is Officer Hoff.
Hold on. I'm going to have to open it in a bigger one.
Officer Jack.
Hold on. Sorry. This always happens. Okay, we're going out on this one. No sound? Because I wasn't sharing the right tab. Sorry. Oh my God. All right, let's go. Round 2.
This is Officer Jack. Suspect spotted. This is Officer Hoff. I'm on the suspect. Officer Jack, look up for the paw. Oh. 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 Counsel, I was born at a very young age, and ever since then, I've lived in my house for about 20 plus years with my parents, who have lived in the same house for 25 plus years. If I could, I want to show you guys some pictures of the potholes on my street and what could happen if someone stepped on them. I've staged a few photos for you. Thank God they were staged, but if I could show the council. Photos for you. This is me after coming home, maybe from the bar. And as you can see, the pothole above my head is over 2 feet long. Big pothole. This is another one I took. Look at my legs. They've been on my street for 25 plus years. I have long legs.
10 seconds.
I will now make my
Anyways, public comments are great. Participation in your public, in your government is great. And thank you to everyone again. See you guys later.